coming to you live from wherever. It's the Ticket Booth Podcast.
Hello, everyone! Welcome to today's edition of the Ticket Booth Podcast. I am your host, Brian Bevington. We got here.
I'm Jeff, and nighttime, you asshole.
Hello, my name is Jack Attack. I'm the Australian, and today I'm recording it at midday, 12:43 p.m. That's what it's like down under.
That's honestly just crazy, you know? Like, that's just insane.
Paul Hogan, am I right?
I'm working on my Australian accent. I'm trying to make it accurate.
I'm Krimes.
Hey, who else we got here? We got one more. Who is it?
It's me! Hey, it's me. My name is It's Krimes or Mark, and I paid to see Jurassic World 2 times this week.
Oh my god.
2 times?
Yep.
Wait,
That's
oh my
two
god.
more times than you should have.
You're responsible for the reason why that movie already made like $700 million.
Oh,
It's
fuck
all
you,
your
dude.
fault.
It's all your fault.
Oh no.
You did this. Anyway,
What have you done, Mark?
we are the
I can't
pretend.
believe you've done this.
Yes.
Fuck.
I can't believe you've done
Can't
this.
believe you've done this.
We are the pretentious cucks from the side of Twitter, and today we got some films to talk about. First one, since we've all seen it, I think this should be the first one, the biggest one we talk about, because I got quite a bit to say about this. That is A24's latest film, Hot Summer Nights.
Happens every summer. When the air's so heavy you can't breathe. The nights turn long and sleepless. When you long for cooler times. You know what it is. It's gonna tear you apart.
Can't hold on to everything. I think some things you can. Then I hope you're good at being hurt.
Starring a hot summer Timothy Chalamet.
Yay. It was
So, who wants to go first with their thoughts? Because I think we've all seen it.
You go first, Brian. No.
Disappointment, pretty much. God, I was so fucking excited for this movie ever since I first saw the trailer. Because, one thing, I love A24. I think people know that by now. I have an A24 boner. Every time I see a new A24 trailer, I'm usually looking forward to it. For the most part, yeah, the trailer looked really good, and I'm a huge fan of Timothy. I think everyone is by now. You know, he's not only extremely attractive and a nice young actor, but he also is a legit amazing actor. Just watch Call Me by Your Name if you don't believe me. So, and the trailer of this movie looked like it'd be something like, you know, a coming-of-age story about a kid who goes down to, well, for those who don't know, he goes down to his aunt's for the summer, and then he gets involved in drugs, and that's about it. And he wants to fuck this girl. That's about it. So, yeah, where to start with this movie and how it turned out? So, you couldn't see it in theaters because DirecTV, every time DirecTV and A24 crossover, they never release in theaters.
Well, I
Same thing-
mean, it got a limited release after that. It's like a distribution thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Same thing with Women Walks Ahead with Jessica Chastain. I think that's online too, but I don't know. And so where to start? My biggest problem, something that I noticed from like the first 20 minutes, is that I love the style of the movie. I think the cinematography looks gorgeous. I think the editing's top notch. Pretty much everything stylistically with the movie is fantastic. But at the same time, for like at least the first 20 minutes, it kind of, to me at least, kind of made it feel like it was trying to amplify more of the story in a way that just made it feel more like it was trying to do more than it actually did.
See, that's what I was gonna say. I felt like at the very beginning, it felt incredibly style over substance.
Like,
And as it went
Yeah.
on, I was like, okay, this is kind of nice. But again, it felt like, you know, the editing of like a really great film. It didn't really have much of a, you know, character and personality behind it. It has like one piece of the puzzle, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have all the rest of the pieces.
exactly.
felt-
That's exactly how I felt.
It felt like it was chasing Wolf of Wall Street.
And by the 25-minute mark, I did not feel much, if at all, investment in the story. And it made me realize that Hunter is like the only remotely interesting character. The rest are literally some of the most flat people you can imagine. Timothy Chalamet's character. I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, another
His
positive.
performance is good, but
Oh, yeah, his performance is great. The performances are all great. I can't really name a bad performance. In fact, there's a Disney Channel actress who plays one of the girls, and she was surprisingly pretty decent. Which, still, Hollywood, stop making Disney Channel actresses a thing because it's not fucking working. But anyway, all the performances are good. It's just the characters and the story for the most part just Well, for one thing, the story also kind of felt a bit cliched, mainly in the aspect of Timothy Chalamet's relationship with the girl played by Micah Monroe, which I forgot that was Micah Monroe after I watched the movie. I was like, oh, it was the girl from It Follows. So it's just that the main problem I had with the movie is that I didn't not feel invested. I didn't really even care. Sadly, it's just I can't tell if it's just because I was so burnt out by the first 30 minutes trying to use the style to make itself feel more than it actually is. Like, I hate using this word because it's so overused against art movies, and it kind of feels like an insult to great art house movies. But if I describe this movie, like, at least the first 30 minutes in one word, it'd probably be pretentious. Kind of. It's just I felt like as great as the style is, it just, like you keep saying, it felt more like it tried to make it more than it really was. Like, the story itself is simple, but the first 15 minutes cut to the narration so much that it feels like the movie itself was an afterthought. They cut to the narration so much that I forgot there was even a movie.
Yeah.
Like,
In fact, what was the point of this narration?
Honestly, I really like. I love the aspect of being able to like instead of getting the main character to narrate or any other character to narrate, they had just someone who, like, a kid who lived in the area.
Yeah,
it's an interesting
How
framing.
did you know about the parts he wasn't there for?
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, to me, that kind of thing, it could be explained by, rumors and such, but it's kind of, films have had that problem ever since, Titanic.
Yeah.
Like, how did Rose know all about those scenes that she wasn't involved in?
Yeah, but the more I think about it, it's also just like the narration isn't really even needed to begin with, because it doesn't add anything. It's not like narration in a movie like Goodfellas or Sunset Boulevard, where it definitely is great narration, and it adds to the movie. It adds to the quality of the movie. Here, it just felt unneeded, and the first 15 minutes cut to it so much that I didn't even feel invested in the story because I wasn't getting enough of it. I know 15 minutes isn't that much into a movie, but I should at least get something by that point, you know? Like, I think they only showed like 5 minutes worth of the plot. The other 10 minutes was just narration and just cutting to a bunch of cool stuff, but which, like I said,
Very
was
style
cool,
over
but
substance.
yeah, exactly. It just more felt like they wanted to make a really nice looking music video, and the movie itself was an afterthought.
I'm guessing none of y'all actually enjoyed any part of it, or y'all enjoyed
Well, I
some
mean,
parts of it.
I didn't hate it.
Oh, neither did I. In fact, as much as I'm raining on, as disappointed as I was, this is, like, I hate the Cloverfield Paradox, but this is easily the most disappointing movie of the year so far. Like, as much as I was looking for the Cloverfield Paradox, since I'm a huge Cloverfield fan, I was still skeptical. But Hot Summer Nights, I was not skeptical at all, because A24 usually just makes a whole bunch of bangers, and every movie that I look forward to from them lives up to the hype.
Wow.
And
They're not
perfect.
They're
Not perfect. But every film that came out that I was looking forward to and I ended up watching and looking forward to lived up to the hype. Like Ghost Story, I was looking forward to so much and then lived up to the hype. Same with Good Time. And this particular one, it's just the trailer, I feel, has more to it than the actual movie. Like, it just like it also kind of felt like the style itself kind of also felt like watered down Spring Breakers.
Krimes, I'm interested to hear your perspective.
Yeah.
You said you viewed this as a guilty pleasure.
Yes, this is very much a guilty pleasure. I don't really agree with the assessment that this is discount Spring Breakers, right?
I mean, well, it gave me that vibe, and it kind of, like, Spring Breakers also has more to it than this movie.
See, I wouldn't say it's discount Spring Breakers. I feel, if anything, it's an amalgamation of a bunch of different movies that this director loved. There's definitely a huge influence, whether you want to see it or not, in the third act of Moonrise Kingdom. Did any of y'all pick that up? Like, the entire third act is basically
no, not at all.
In the third act of Moonrise Kingdom, there's the whole flood, the whole big sequence where everything's just going down and the whole city is basically just getting flooded, and there's the storm and all of that, and it just escalates as the storm escalates, as well as the plot did in Hot Summer Nights as the storm escalated.
Are you sure that was like, in terms of like the metaphor of it escalating, like, sure, that could be intentional, but was it an intentional reference to Moonrise Kingdom though? Is it? I don't know if it was that intentional.
Yeah.
It depends, I guess, but there's also, I felt it was more like I, Tonya, except I actually liked this instead of I, Tonya. Oh god.
I, Tonya, at least cared about the characters, and the characters felt more three-dimensional.
Oh god, I, Tonya. For me, I, Tonya, what killed it was the really, 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 really bad script. and just the overall uninspired nature of the entire film. And Allison Janney, like, the fact that she won an Oscar for her performance is genuinely embarrassing.
I mean, she's great in this, though.
It's basic overacting. That's all it is. There's no subtlety behind anything she says, whether there's an intensity behind her voice and that she's able to do a scowl good. That shouldn't really qualify as
Well, I know
layered or interesting.
Doing a scowl is necessary, like just her face on its own in that movie. I would not want to be in a room with that woman.
Though at the same time, she deserved I'd say her role in Juno is probably more Oscar worthy, if you ask me.
I would have rather her won for Juno than for I, Tonya. Because
Honestly,
I, Tonya, for me, it's just so over the top. It just kind of kills her entire character. That's all it was for most of I, Tonya. It was just so over the top for what was supposed to be a realistic story. It's supposed to be a realistic.
Anyway, getting back to Hot Summer Night.
Fuck.
Anyway.
Sorry, my
yeah,
bad.
it's just Hot Summer Nights isn't a terrible movie.
No, it's competently made.
For one thing, I love the style. It's gorgeous.
It's not bad.
And it would have, and I would say it adds a lot to the movie. It's just
also really good soundtrack, might I add.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Soundtrack's amazing. There are scenes that I love, particularly some towards the end. I love the soundtrack. All the performances, like I said, are really good, actually. The use of the music is actually pretty fucking great. Like, especially Space Oddity. And,
No, I hated the way they used Space Oddity. I found that, like, cringeworthy.
Oof. Well,
I don't get me wrong, I love me some David Bowie. I like me some Space Oddity.
Who doesn't, honestly?
But, like, the way they put that in the film, it was, like, I hated it. It was so cringeworthy. Like, it feels like now just one of those songs that they'll just put into indie movies, and it's just like,
or Valerian.
Well, guys, look how artsy we are. We're putting in the David Bowie music.
I agree with Jack on this one.
I mean, it's just I have quite a bit of positives in the movie. It's just that, like you say, my main problem with the movie is just that it relied so much on its style that it felt like the movie itself was an afterthought, and in that aspect, it's just by the end, I didn't feel much connection to the characters, especially since Timothée Chalamet's character in particular is just flat and one-dimensional. He doesn't really even have that much to him for personality-wise. Just I get it probably isn't really supposed because he's just a kid, but at the same time, I didn't really even feel anything in that. Like, you know what I'm saying here? Like, it's just that all there is to him is just that he smokes weed and he wants to fuck this girl. That's about it. Other than that, he's just flat and uninteresting. Same goes with the rest of the characters. Besides, like I said, Hunter. That's only because they develop him through the narration.
Mm-hmm.
If it weren't for that, he'd probably just be generic, like, tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Though there is a really awesome scene of him beating the shit out of a guy in this drug house.
Anyway, so I wanted to say some of my thoughts on the film. So I had been excited for it. It did seem interesting. I didn't feel like it would be one of my favorites of the year, but from the stuff around it, I was willing to give it a shot. And by the end, I think where the film really completely lost me was its ending. I think that's where it just completely fell flat.
Yeah,
it dropped the ball.
The ending had some great scenes. It's just that it didn't.
The ending, it just felt like it was trying to say something way much more special and big than what it really was.
Wait, there was a metaphor?
The other thing, I don't even really care if there was a metaphor. It just felt so nothing to me.
Wait,
and
can I add something real quick?
In terms of everything else, like, there are definitely aspects that it does well better than a lot of films. It looks mostly nice, even like I've said, it can be very style over substance at points.
Magnolia has a way better and similar third act. Not spoiling anything, but I'm just saying it reminded me kind of that, and Magnolia is a way better movie than this.
Basically, with the ending of this, it was the whole everything just kind of collided, and then it just kind of ends abruptly, and then it just goes to the narration. That's kind of something else Moonrise Kingdom did, as it slowly, like, there was the narration, and then it just kind of wrapped up the characters in a way, and for this it did the exact same thing.
Kingdom is good.
I can admit it's the best film starring Lucas Hedges. Oh no, sorry, the best performance from Lucas Hedges.
Yeah, it's the best performance.
But what about Manchester by the Sea? Excuse me.
Oh, fuck no. Fuck
where
no.
He cries over a frozen chicken.
Ugh.
You're a plumber in Boston.
Star Trek. I think the ending just really, really lost me in just general. It felt incredibly half-assed. Like they were just like, okay, so how do we end this movie? Let's not really give it an end.
Just do the thing.
It's just they do the thing,
Felt
and,
like
and then the boy narrates some more, because you know
Yeah.
the parts where the boy narrated were the best parts of the film. Totally.
Yeah.
That was
It's a
sarcasm.
story. It's a story that just could have been. It could have been so fucking good. But at the same time, it's just. It felt like Elijah Barnum, or not Barnum, Bynum, whatever his last name is, just wanted to rely on just the style so much that he forgot that he was writing the script, and to the point where it just felt like the actual movie just did nothing for me. And also, a point I want to make here is that I think Elijah Bynum has great potential as a director because he does have like a certain like special kind of uniqueness to his directing, or at least in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I don't think that he should really be let near a script.
Oh, like Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I think what his problem was is that he focused too much on style, and the script kind of came second. And again, had the script been really like so much better, like it could have been a potential for a great film. But he only has one part of the cake. If you want to make a great film, you have to have every little piece. You can't have one ingredient missing, because if you don't, then you're just not gonna have it.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
half-baked.
It's just that I'm not. It's just I love a lot of art house movies that are objectively style over substance, but it's just that they at least have something there, like a point to it. Here, this is something that would have worked so much better. It would have been really cool to make it like kind of artsy and have that style, because like I said, like I keep saying, the style is great. It's just that it could have worked a lot better if the director like calmed the fuck down with, look at me, look at how stylistic I make this, look at my editing, look at how much I cut to certain cool things, look at the colors.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has ADHD.
That's good.
I'm sorry.
That's kind of fun.
I'm sorry.
It's just, if he cared about the plot, the movie would be a lot better. But the way that I just didn't care about anything.
Yeah.
And I was
Jeffrey, what are your thoughts?
I didn't hate the movie, but it didn't really get me invested that well. My problem was it felt a bit too slow.
That's actually something
it didn't need to be. It didn't. Like, what was it? 2 hours or just under 2 hours? Because it didn't need to be that long. It could have easily just been like, I don't know, an hour and 40 minutes, an hour and a half ish. It could have been trimmed down so much more.
I didn't even feel it was slow at all. In fact, I'm sure I would have been so entertained by this movie if like I was more invested in the characters or something. Which like you keep bringing up over and over again. It's just that I would have been like, it's a type of story that I wouldn't even say I was necessarily bored during it. It's just my lack of caring for anything just made me just feel very uninvested, and by the end I just was like forcing myself to pay attention by the end.
I think if you trimmed a lot of the fat, it could have been a bit better, honestly, because it felt a bit overstuffed. It should have been a bit shorter, because I kept tuning out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it tried its best to fill in its runtime, especially with the fact where it's like, oh, well, then they're a thing, but then she's his brother, and he might beat the shit out of him, and some other stuff. It felt like it was scattering to fill its runtime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like how it flashed back to earlier scenes in places here and there. Like, I think it had some good editing choices.
Yeah. I feel like the style would work even better if the story just had more meat to it. But it's an extremely simple story. Maybe if they had more meat to the story, I feel like the style would have worked a lot better. Like I said, if they cared more about the script, and if because when you really get down to it with the whole style over substance thing, like it just feels like they just want to distract you from the fact that the story is like can pretty much be told within like 5 minutes, or like 2 minutes more or less.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't know, but the thing about this is that I do want to rewatch it, because the thing is that with the amount of hype I had to it, like I didn't even think that it would let me down at all. So I feel like if I rewatch it with knowing more of what I got out of it, then I feel like I might like it slightly more, but I don't know when that could be. Just sometime in the future.
yeah.
I just try and never get excited for for movies anymore because like I don't want to be disappointed.
I mean,
of course there are films I'm going to be looking forward to more than others. Like I'm more excited to go see the new Mission Impossible than I will be seeing Show Dogs. But it's like I don't want to.
Well, be a rational human being either way.
Well, I mean, yeah, and also I'm kind of with you on that. It's just that it's not like I let myself be excited for movies that like I know will probably live up, but at the same time I try and tone down my expectations just for my own protection.
Do y'all know what's gonna live up to the hype though?
Yeah.
Do y'all know what's gonna live up to the hype?
Skyscraper.
The Meg.
Teen Titans Go.
The Meg.
The Meg.
The Meg.
The Meg.
Yes. Starring Jason Statham.
AKA Jason Statham battles a fucking giant shark.
The Meg.
And Rainn Wilson.
You know what?
I'm
gonna say this. If it's basically Crank 3 The Shark, then this will be the greatest film of all time.
It will. He's gonna put a car battery in the water, and then all the fish are gonna.
Yes. Oh God, yes, please.
Damn, I wish I would have seen Crank by now so I could get that fucking joke.
He's gonna attach fishes to his nipples.
I've always wanted to see Crank. The only thing by
It's
Neville Taylor.
It's like Speed if Jason Statham is the bus.
Yeah.
The only thing I've seen by Neville Dean Taylor is the one sequence in Neighbors 2 that they filmed. That's like the stupidest, most normie answer, but kill me, I don't know.
It really is.
God damn it.
Be honest, I don't care, swing at me. I prefer people being honest than people just like, I don't know.
The Meg.
So are we done
Whatever.
talking about Hot Summer Nights?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because
Final thoughts, anyone?
It's not a terrible movie. It's definitely not gonna make my worst of the year.
No,
It's
sir.
not gonna be like just mention or any of that. It's just it could have been so much more if the script had more work, if the characters had more development, and the movie relied a little bit if the movie relied less on its style and more just trying to know what it is to just make the script something that will have a point,
Yeah.
Sure. What would your out of 10 rating be?
It's okay. It's
5.
It's okay. I don't think it's good.
I give it a 6, honestly.
I'd give it a 4.
I wanted to give it a 6, but it's not. I wouldn't even go as far as to call the movie just completely average. It's because it does something to stand out among other movies.
Yeah, there's a difference between when it comes to like the 5 or 10 score. That's like one of the only scores where I feel like there are two meanings behind it. It's either average or a film that's just completely in the middle where it gets kind of half and half.
Well, yeah, that's exactly how I describe
Out of
Hot
5, I gave it a 2.5.
Has a lot of good things, but it doesn't even really have like any like absolutely awful things. Just has things that just wear down the good from it, and it's just like biting into an old donut. Once you get to the cream, it just tastes rotten.
That's a very interesting comparison.
That is
just once the cream hits your tongue, it just tastes kind of rotten.
God
I don't like Hot Summer Nights.
I got to agree with y'all. It's but I think it's a guilty pleasure. I gave it a 5.
I wish I could call it a guilty pleasure.
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
I could not pay attention. I was forcing myself to stay into it.
I got you.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
So honestly, I think I looked at my phone for like maybe 15 minutes.
I check the time a lot during movies, but that's because of my OCD. But in this particular
We are
case,
all in the exact same position on this.
Yeah, I love how usually we disagree on certain things. Like I think in like every other discussion we've like argued about certain things that we like, dislike. But this one, we're just all in the same boat.
Usually I'm just like fuck all you guys. Y'all are
we're all
wrong.
in the same boat as Mark. Holy
I know,
shit!
Right? That's
Holy
crazy.
shit.
So this movie hasn't.
Suck shit. This is like the second or third time I've agreed with Mark.
Oh yeah, congrats, buddy.
No,
Virtual high five.
I mean, I agree with Mark sometimes because Manhattan is a goddamn masterpiece.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right.
You were fucking right.
So what next?
So Jack, you and Jeff want to discuss Ant-Man and the Wasp since you guys have seen it?
Get loose now. No. You go low, I'll go high.
I have wings. Why would I go low?
We're gonna die. I don't wanna die. We didn't die!
Hey, what'd I miss?
We were just tiny!
It takes two to make a thing go right.
fun time.
I
you
don't believe you.
What is your thing against Ant-Man, Brian? You seemed very pessimistic against this movie all the time I mentioned
Because it looked like garbage. Okay, here's the thing. I think my thing, that's why I just am so pessimistic against the trailer, because I got it before every goddamn movie I went to
when you
see.
get a trailer
Same for me, actually.
I got it for Hereditary, for Christ's sakes.
Well, at least you got that. That's like getting the Grinch trailer in front of Isle of Dogs. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
I did that too. Oh.
Or the Super Troopers 2 trailer before Isle of Dogs.
Or the Isle of Dogs trailer before Super Troopers 2.
Or maybe
these would have been nice.
Or
anyway,
maybe the Isle of Dogs trailer before Isle of Dogs.
Oh, okay. If it makes anything better, I've seen the first one.
Well, that's good.
First one,
yeah.
It was.
Okay, so
I hated the first one.
Okay, so like I said, average. But I mean, if I'm gonna like be less harsh and be less of like a Jay Sherman, then it's kind of fun. And I actually legitimately really like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. I think he fit the role really well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love Paul Rudd. I think he's awesome. And
Paul Rudd is like the cool dad that you want to hang out with.
He's like the guy you just want to sit around, drink beer, and watch Netflix with.
He's like Ethan Hawke in Boyhood. He's that awesome divorced dad.
Or Ethan Hawke in the Before trilogy.
Let it be known.
Ethan Hawke in First Reformed.
God damn it. I watched the first Ant-Man illegally because I will not support Marvel after they made fucking Edgar Wright leave.
I still feel bad that I saw the first one in theaters because of Edgar Wright.
I was honest. Well, if it weren't for him quitting, we wouldn't have gotten Baby Driver, probably.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Point. It felt like his heart was more in Baby Driver.
Oh yeah. I mean, because who knows how good the final product would have been? Because it didn't seem like Edgar Wright was that passionate about making Ant-Man. So who the hell really knows?
Yeah.
Still, release the Lord and Miller cut.
God damn it.
Anyway,
release the Snyder cut.
James Gunn cut of the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie.
Dude, James Gunn is
actually exists.
The GOAT.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
What? Wait, what? You don't know? Okay. Wait. Everyone quiet. I need to explain this directly to Jack. Okay, so the point is, there is a R-rated cut of the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie that was deliberately, I think, mostly creatively controlled by James Gunn. So we as a society constantly forget there's an R-rated cut of the shitty 2002 Scooby-Doo movie lying around somewhere.
Yes, and on IMDb it says Shaggy was said to be a stoner, Velma and Daphne had a side relationship, and there were many marijuana references.
Holy shit, we need this.
So what you're saying is this is not any different than the original cut. Come on, you know that in the original version Shaggy was not a stoner. Tell me that with a straight face.
No, he just ate dog food instead of weed.
Have y'all not? No,
Come on,
you see, the dog food was edibles. God damn it, Brian.
Jane, God damn it.
The dog food was edibles, you fucks. Ugh!
They were Scooby snacks, you uncultured swine.
Dude, we need to protest for the R-rated cut. Seriously.
He must have James Gunn.
Just telling you now, if you can make weed brownies, you can make weed Scooby snacks.
Exactly.
Oh hell yeah!
You know what he was smuggling in on that plane when he saw Mary Jane. You know how excited she was when she was like, "I've never met anybody who makes Scooby snacks."
Long story short, all this is more fun to talk about than Ant-Man.
You already know. You already know he kissed her.
Sidebarring. I have more to say about it.
Sorry. Okay,
yes,
Jeff,
let's talk about.
Say your 2 cents. I'm so sorry.
So Ant-Man. First act, a bit muddled. It felt like it was having a bit of trouble nailing the tone, but once it got into the second half, I think it really nailed it. It was funny. It had a bit more emotional stakes than the first one, and there was a lot of stuff. It was just, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was better than the first one, and also, just because the effects were good, I liked that it was in more of a widescreen ratio, unlike the first one. Also, can I just say, in the opening sequence, there's an opening scene where like in the first one, they de-age Michael Douglas.
Yeah, and that's really
they do that
impressive
again
how
with
they're
him
able to do that
and
again.
Michelle Pfeiffer, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, I gotta say, the digital de-aging that they're able to do is really impressive.
I love Michael Douglas.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't love Michael Douglas?
Michael
True.
Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
All he wants is some goddamn breakfast. Okay, please tell me.
That's
does he say I want?
falling down reference, by the way, guys.
Does he say I want breakfast in this movie? Because if he does, I will pay to see this. I wouldn't use Movie Pass. I will pay to see it. Does he say it?
I don't think he does.
God damn it!
God.
Yeah, at least
There's not a scene in this movie where he pretty much holds up an entire burger restaurant to get.
At least see it with Michael Pena, who you may remember from the noteworthy Kino Chips.
Yes,
Oh,
Michael Pena from Chips.
But
His name
seriously, though,
isn't Michael
Pena
Pena
was-
anymore. His name is Michael Pena from Chips.
Wait, guys, did you know though? He ate my butt.
Did you guys know that people eat each other's ass now? Well, yeah, dude, they're eating each other's ass.
If you go in the bathroom, you see some big wets. Green lights. Why do I remember lines from Chips?
God damn it.
Shoot me.
So, anyway, Michael Pena, he's really funny in this, and there's a scene where he goes running through all this side events, and he's mouthing all the lips, and it's priceless.
In terms of comedic side characters in terms of the Marvel movies, Michael Pena and his gang of thug backup guys, they're honestly some of my favorites. They are legitimately really, really funny and charming. I love any time they're on screen.
Also, Walton motherfucking Goggins, yo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he's don't get me wrong, I love me some Walter Goggins, but his character, he needed to have, if you could just easily cut his character out of this film.
I read a tweet that said there's no reason he couldn't have been Sam Rockwell. It's Justin Hammer.
What? Holy fuck.
Technically
That would've been
speaking,
awesome.
yes. And I would have
Bring him back to the
Raw.
MCU, goddammit. He has an Oscar now.
Well-
You have no excuse.
Pretty much. I mean, and also, but what I was trying to say is that it's interesting to hear that Michael Pena has more to do rather than just being the Mexican stereotype.
And
Yeah,
also,
yeah, his amazing role in this year's A Wrinkle in Time, which
Oh. I actually legitimately like Michael Pena, but goddamn, does he do a lot of shit movies?
oh, he does. But it's worth it to see him do his good stuff.
yeah.
Jesus, please get that guy a new agent.
So let's talk about the villain. I liked it. I liked her.
I think for me, there's the classic criticism that the Marvel films have really bad villains.
Well, they've
For
gotten
me,
better.
yeah, I think they've definitely gotten better. In terms of Ghost, I would put her somewhere on the positive side of the middle, if that makes any sense. She's not
That
one of
makes
the worst.
sense,
Yeah. She's not I wouldn't call her one of the best. I wouldn't call her one of the worst. I would call her a good one, but not a great one.
Yeah.
How does she compare to some of the other Marvel villains?
Better? No, again, I wouldn't put if you at the very top, best of the best, you would have people like
Thanos or Ego.
yeah,
Vulture.
Loki, yeah, it's those guys. And below that, I would say are the good, not great villains. So somebody like Hela or Ghost. Hela is only put under the greats because her character is not interesting, but Kate Blanchett owns every second of her character in that.
Oh yeah. As much as I love Thor Ragnarok, the villain was so much like a regular average Marvel movie, which is weird because
Average
Thor
villain,
Ragnarok was
but
a parody.
amazing performance.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Kate Blanchett was having the time of her life.
It's Kate fucking
Yes.
Blanchett, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
Of course, the performance is
She
amazing.
owns that role, but outside of that, yeah, the character's not interesting, but her performance makes it a really cool character to be on screen. That's besides the point. Ghost, good character. I really enjoyed her action scenes as well. I thought there was a really great scene where this is in the trailer, but where she jumps through a car. That's a really cool shot as well.
And I love what they do with the ants and sizing effects. In this one,
yeah.
they go giant more, and there's a really funny scene where, well, it's hard to explain, but Ant-Man has to get an older version of the suit, and he hides it in a plastic world's greatest grandma trophy that his daughter got him. It's at his school, and the size thing is malfunctioning, and he has to go just regular short, midget size. Am I being offensive? I don't know what the correct term is, but
No, it's fine.
And
Just say
it's in the trailer,
just
but
call him. You can call him Peter Dinklage size.
Yeah, and he gets back in the van, and Michael's like, "Hey, how's your day at school? You want a juice box?"
That stuff's really great. I really like some of the dynamic that they have with each
Yeah, the
other.
chemistry between Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas is just them. Like, after all, their chemistry, it is partly responsible why we have the greatest Marvel promo ever.
Ants! Ants! Ant-Man!
I definitely will check it out at some point. It's just, I don't know if I'll see. I mean, well, I should see it in theaters
I mean,
because I have Movie Pass now.
It's a very nice and much needed palate cleanser after gut punch that was Infinity War.
The thing is, with this and the other Ant-Man film, I feel like it's just kind of like a nice, easy. It's just like a really nice, easy film. It's not one of those the world is going to end, everyone is going to die kind of films. It's more like
the stakes aren't that high.
It's a small, and this is obviously very intentional, but it's a very small. For what it is a much smaller film, and it just makes for like a really nice, easy kind of Sunday afternoon watch.
Yeah,
and they're just really sweet. I just kind of they're just kind of fun. They're the dumb fun category.
Throwback to the Infinity War podcast where Jack said, after the events of this movie, who the hell is going to care about an Ant-Man movie?
Oh, God.
You know what I mean with this point, right? I just remember that quote, and now here you are saying.
Yeah, this is bizarre, where we have more to say about an A24 indie that's just mediocre than an MCU movie that's blockbuster.
Well, for this, it's just like there's not really a lot to. It's just kind of fun and easy.
That
it's
and
like,
more
it's
people.
It's what you need.
That and more of us have seen Hot Summer Nights than Ant-Man.
Here's a question: how was Lawrence Fishburne? How long was he in it for?
Not bad.
Lawrence Fishburne
a decent amount.
How's
Again,
the after credit scene?
I would put him in the category of actors that's just like it's not really. It's a bit hard to get a bad performance out of him. He's always trying.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, but where I haven't seen him much recently. Like
he was in 2 superhero movies in recent years, and obligatory "this outgrows Justice League" comment.
Oh wait, he was in Justice League.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna watch a movie one day. See how fucking bad it is. I'm curious now.
For the love of God.
I know I'm gonna give it one half.
It is that. Sorry, this is a side thing, but Justice League might just be. It's a film that's gotten so much worse in my mind, and I think it might be on par or even worse than Suicide Squad.
It's not worse than Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was raging me.
But
I'll say this, Suicide Squad, I was angrier, but here's the worst thing about
Justice League
that made
is more of an obvious mess.
But it's more of a mess. But here's the thing that's like the worst thing about Justice League. The very worst thing. It is like 2 hours long, and it is so goddamn boring. It is so boring. It is goddamn boring.
It is such an obvious Frankenstein monster of a movie.
So I think I may have found a movie that I hate more than Suicide Squad, but I need to think about that more.
I don't know.
Final closing thoughts on Ant-Man. Brian,
good.
Give it a shot. I would say give it a shot. Krimes.
I will.
Don't even try. Don't even try, Krimes.
Yeah.
I know you would hate this film. But
This
is not a film.
Thank you for keeping it real.
My headphones actually went out.
Thank you for keeping it real, buddy. I love you.
Another reason why I'm kind of skeptical. Another reason why I don't know if I'll see it through is because Tim Heidecker is apparently only in it for like 2 seconds.
That was funny because like he showed up and my friends were like giggling and I was like turned to them and I was like, what? And they were like, that's Tim from Tim and Eric, and I was like, oh. Speaking of which, did you hear he was Captain Jordan Peele's new movie?
Wait, what? Holy fuck!
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There's one last thing I need to add about Ant-Man, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'll say this: that the first mid-credit scene. Oh my God! Not say anything, but
let's just. If you've seen Infinity War, you know what's coming.
I should probably give it. I'm definitely going to give it a shot because 2018 has probably been the best year for superhero movies in at least a long time. You know. Well, I mean, at least
I would say this: 2018 has been a good year, but 2017 was a great year. I would say.
Yes.
Mainly with Infinity War and Deadpool 2 for me.
And Black Panther.
Yeah, and Incredibles 2 if it counts. I would say Black Panther, but y'all are gonna judge.
Last year had Lego Batman, Guardians of
yeah.
the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man, and Thor Ragnarok. So
And 2016 only had like Civil War, I think.
Civil War
Yeah,
wasn't
nothing
even
else, really.
good.
that's it.
Oh yeah, nothing else. And don't even get me started on fucking Suicide myself.
Yeah.
That was fucking cringe.
So
Sorry.
yeah, move on. Next topic.
Okay.
First time watches.
Oh
Wait,
sure. Hell
no,
yeah.
no, 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 no. Wait.
Let Krimes go first. Let
Wait.
Krimes go first.
Wait.
Oh,
Wait.
Krimes needs to talk about
We need to
Jurassic
talk about
Oh.
Jurassic World.
Hell
Jurassic
yes.
World.
Yes, the best movie of the year.
Da, da, da,
Da, da, da, da, da, da,
Kill
da,
me.
da, 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 da.
We just wasted Jeff Goldblum.
Da, 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 da,
I don't know.
And Brian saw that shit coming. So fuck you if otherwise.
Alan.
We should have all known he was only gonna be in the movie for like 2 fucking minutes.
It was.
Yeah,
so
come on.
I knew that.
obvious.
I knew that they were gonna do that. It was so lame.
Yeah, I
It's
kind of knew too.
such nostalgia bait.
Did Brian? So have you seen Jurassic World Fallen Poop yet?
No, I don't plan.
Yeah.
I
Watch it
haven't
when it comes
seen
out on
it, and I have
digital
no
because
clue.
there
Okay,
are some.
I will, but I.
Watch it when it comes out on digital because there are some unintentionally hilarious moments.
Okay, ironically though, I will mainly watch it ironically. I'm not
It's-
gonna watch it.
okay.
Oh my god, it's the
Because
best
the
movie.
first Jurassic World is bad and it feels
I
completely.
saw
It's just nostalgia
first
bait.
Jurassic
But at the
World.
same time,
I'll
liked
be
it
honest.
when I saw it in theaters.
I kind of
Let me
like
see.
Jurassic World.
okay,
I have a soft spot for Jurassic World. I don't
Okay.
think it's anything great, but I think there are genuine big issues with it.
I
But
mean,
in terms of like big dumb blockbuster, I could watch Jurassic World if it's on TV. If that makes sense.
I mean, it's fun, and Chris Pratt is like, well, it's fucking Chris Pratt. And
I
like,
saw it.
there's tons of
saw
great
it.
actors in it who do a fine job. Like Irfan Khan from Life of Pi is in it, and Nick Robinson, Simon from Love Simon.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was in it until
Well,
after I saw Love Simon.
I mean, well, that was pre Love Simon, Nick Robinson, back
Well,
when he
yeah.
just started only shit.
Yeah, Fifth Wave.
Oh god, don't never watch Fifth Wave, please.
Let me get this off my chest. I hated Jurassic World, but I loved Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom.
Ironically,
No,
Yes.
no,
No, Mark.
It's his new favorite film.
it's my favorite film of 2018.
Krimes, can you do me a small favor? Can you add Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom to your favorites on Letterboxd on your Letterboxd account,
Sure.
please? Make all 4 of them Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Manhattan
Gotcha.
and Persona are pretty good, but my god, Jurassic Kingdom, that is art.
Okay.
You know, the volcano's a metaphor for our American justice system, you know?
don't understand, dude. It's a fucking metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Why can't you understand genius cinema?
Dude, I love making jokes that just simple things in movies are metaphors. Just making fun of people who say metaphors.
It's a
are-
metaphor.
The volcano is a metaphor for racism.
Powerful.
So,
So
can I
Krimes,
get
you
my
were
thoughts
saying?
It's the best movie of 2018.
keep going.
Do you need anything else?
It's
You
it's
okay,
the
honey?
funniest.
Do you want some water?
It's it's the funniest. It's the most tensest. It's the most jump scare filled fucking dinosaur movie ever put to screen. It's all the performances are horrible and boring
water
and
horrible?
bland, but they're
I heard water over.
they're all amazing. It's,
Oh my god, sorry.
It's such
getting some more.
it's such an amazing piece of cinema. Anyways, if you wanna, Jack, you should probably check my.
Give your thoughts again because I heard noise over you.
Jack, check my Letterboxd. I wish I had Patreon so I could have that as my background. My header. Oh, that'd be a beautiful sight. But yes, Jurassic World is the best summer blockbuster movie of the past decade. It is without a doubt, the greatest movie of 2018. I cannot stress how amazing it is. Everybody should go out to the theater to watch Jurassic World because it is brilliant. The CGI is brilliant. Chris Pratt.
Rampage run for its money.
Chris Pratt running from a CGI volcano, screaming "Run!" is masterful. Okay, I cannot stress how fantastic this film is. There is so many layers. It's like an onion. It just keeps on unraveling and unraveling as the film goes on. And then there's this mystery. There's a side plot. There's this side orientation between these super rich Chinamen, and they're trying to buy the dinosaurs, and they're gonna sell them, and they're gonna use them, and it's super, super cool. It's incredibly cool. And then Chris Pratt, he whistles, and a baby dinosaur breaks down a wall, and then the dinosaur goes into the mansion, and he starts fucking the shit out of these Chinamen. He starts throwing them against walls. He headbutts a girl into the air like 10 feet, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. There's so much to love, and there's not enough to hate from Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. I would love to see it another time because, like I noted at the beginning of this episode, I paid for this in theater twice.
And like I said, it making $700 million already is your goddamn fault.
Well,
Thanks. Now we're gonna get 5 more Jurassic Worlds.
Oh yes, please.
I've been holding back laughter for the past minute.
If this is the quality, if this is the quality of all the Jurassic World films to come, I am completely okay with that because this is a masterpiece of its own right. It's holy. It goes to all the Christian people because it panders to them because it's like dinosaurs are against God. And they're just like, yeah, because dinosaurs, God killed the dinosaurs. And it's like, it's beautiful. It's seeing, I mean...
Let's talk about some of the CGI in this film.
Okay, wait, no.
Some of it's not too bad, but some of it is also horrendous. There's like this magma that like when Chris Pratt is like laying on the ground and it's like slowly coming towards him, and I am not even joking. It looks like something out of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It looked like it was straight.
Eyebrows raised. Oh my god, I need to see this shit right now.
Look, okay.
Holy fuck, I wish we all lived in the same state. We could just all skip into the movie theater and just watch this shit together.
Okay. Can we at least take some time to look at the header for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom on Letterboxd. Look at that shit. I mean, you can tell there is so much tension and horror and just inner terrifyingness in Chris Pratt's expressionless plastic surgery induced fucking face. And then fuck, I can't remember her name.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. God damn it. Bryce Dallas. Bryce Dallas Howard, and her. I mean, her face speaks for herself. I mean, just look at that. It's masterful. Are you looking at the header?
Oh my god. What the fuck is with Bryce Dallas Howard's face on this goddamn poster?
The daughter of Ron Howard.
Created.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh,
but
shit.
basically.
They're both looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score for the movie.
Yes. Juan Antonio Bayona directed A Monster Calls.
Which I've actually heard is really good. Has anybody here seen it?
I've seen it.
I watched like the first 10 minutes of it, and it's not that I was bored or not into it. It's just that I didn't feel like finishing it that day.
It's really sad.
I've heard The Impossible in the Orphanage is also really good. So have any of you guys seen anything else he's done?
I think I've seen The Orphanage.
Is The Orphanage good?
I remember I said I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
From what it seems, though, he seems like aside from the disaster of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, seems like a mostly competent director.
Yeah. I tell
you, I say mostly, but like, my God, like these are competent movies.
I tell you, I cannot fucking wait for Contrevor's fourth Jurassic, or what is it, like third or fourth Jurassic World sequel, where he will make his own Flintstones fan fiction in the form of a Jurassic World movie.
If he can make it at least half as well written as the Book of Henry, then it will be amazing.
No, I want it to be the worst fucking movie of all time. Also, the park may be gone, but the sequels aren't.
No.
Okay, so
I haven't even seen the movie, and I want to join in on this ironic bandwagon.
it's
Why not?
Can we let this be noted? Before I put Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom as my favorite film of all time, my follower count was 229. Let it be known that it is now 226 in the 2 minutes that I updated my account.
What?
Oh my God!
What the fuck?
Maybe it isn't because of Jurassic World?
Maybe.
I'm sorry.
Jack, you just made him lose 3 followers, you bastard!
I'm sorry, Mom.
What the? Fuck you, Dave, Iona, you did this! Oh my, guys. Wait, the park is gone, but do you want to know where else is gone? Be a Mark's follower.
Yeah, like what can you say about that? What is to say?
Oh my God.
What?
Jack just wrecked you.
I'm sorry. Mark, will you ever forgive me? Will you ever forgive me?
That's one of the best things I've ever heard. What the fuck?
Mark, will you ever forgive me?
Yes.
That's fucking amazing.
Yes. Oh God.
Oh my God.
This is almost as bad as how you have to make a Life of the Party video analysis.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you still haven't made it yet?
I still haven't.
Oh man, I
It's a
don't
work
blame
in
you, honestly.
progress.
It's
Honestly,
coming.
if I was forced to do that shit, I just gave up. I'd just be bored.
It's coming.
Talking about a
Dude.
goddamn Melissa McCarthy comedy in 2018.
Time to update my fucking profile before I lose any more. Jesus Christ.
No,
Don't
keep
worry,
it.
That's
That
a
is so
Fallen
fucking
Kingdom.
funny. Oh my God. People would just be like, "Holy fuck, is he actually going mainstream now?"
This
Oh,
Mark
God.
like movies finally? What?
Oh my God, he likes a big dumb blockbuster now. What
It's
the fuck?
great. It's one of my favorite movies of the year.
Krimes, have you become normie?
Krimes, have you become Jeremy Johns?
Not even Jeremy Johns liked Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
I'm shocked. Considering how he gave Suicide Squad a buy it on Blu-ray.
So,
Fallen
Kingdom, I don't want. We gotta move on, or else I'm gonna bust my gut.
I'm gonna bust my nut because of
God
this.
damn it. Okay, I updated my profile. Thank you.
Dave Iona is worth an Oscar for his masterful direction of this cinematic masterpiece. Stanley Kubrick, you know what? Stanley Kubrick's alright.
Stanley Kubrick is a hack.
You know what? He directed some boring, pretentious movie that I can yawn when pretentious people talk about it, you know? That's the only reason I watched 2001, just so I can yawn when boring, pretentious people talk about it.
Oh,
You know?
God.
No, I'm just fucking.
13 Reasons Why.
God.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, so anything else about
final
this movie
final
of all
thoughts
time?
on Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
It's the greatest movie of this year.
More like Jurassic World Fallen franchise.
I'd recommend it to anybody. I think it's accessible to all types of people.
What age demographic?
All ages.
30-year-old
Babies
Star
come
Wars fans, the psychotic 30-year-old Star Wars fans who are starting to bald.
Or 50-year-old virgins.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this was definitely something.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, do we got any other things to say about Jurassic World?
Oh,
I like that they called it Fallen Kingdom because whenever I hear the full title, I just remember that really old Captain Sparkles parody, Minecraft parody song.
oh.
Fallen Kingdom.
Oh my god, dude, this movie's so bad to bring up a goddamn Minecraft song parody.
I used to.
The saddest moment in all of like history was seeing that old king guy jump off the building at the end of Fallen Kingdom.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
put
that
little
video.
10-year-old me in the
That
fields.
was when I ruled the land.
Through the land.
Dun, 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 dun. And then the mobs and all the creepers came.
Like if you cry every time.
Christmas.
Anyway, oh my god, this is just fucking beautiful.
First time watchers, anyone?
Anyway, who wants to go first for what movies they watched?
So I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I watched this Krimes. I told you I watched Martin.
Yeah, Martin.
It's
Good movie.
George A. Romero's Martin.
It's underrated as shit. It's a super
I
good
agree.
movie.
It's sadly the only George A. Romero movie I've seen thus far.
Oh.
I haven't seen the Dead movies, of the Living Dead movies.
Night of the Living Dead, more like George A. Romero of the Dead.
He's one of them
We're just
now.
gonna let that
sorry.
one. We're just gonna let that one sink in.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, people. I think
Let's-
you might need to edit that out unless you want me to lose subs.
Let's let that sink
Just,
quicker
maybe
than the
have
Titanic.
slide with-
So yeah, Martin. It's a really underrated little vampire movie. It's very weird, and there's some stuff in it that is very unsettling. Like I wasn't expecting to see that much. Like there's some full frontal nudity in there,
There is.
Nice.
I
I
think
need to watch
Like-
this now.
and it's very bizarre. Like, and I watched it for inspiration because like I'm wanting to write like a short film about like a reluctant vampire, and I felt this seemed like the closest thing to inspiration. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then I rewatched It's a Mad World. I got the Criterion of it from that Criterion sale, along with Punch Drunk Love and All That Jazz, and my Blu-ray of Nashville is also on the way.
I
So,
got
yeah.
3 Criterions from that sale.
I got 0 because I don't live in
So
America.
yeah, It's a Mad
I wish I could send you some, but
I have yet to
poor.
pick up anything.
So It's a Mad World. Classic comedy. It's honestly the first time I've really watched it and 100% paid attention to it. Like I'd seen it before when I was younger, but I didn't really get all of the jokes and whatever. This now that I've grown up and seen it again, I dig it. It's really funny and it's really long. And I watched the extended cut too. Like it's the movie on its own. It's already like 163 minutes. The cut I watched is extended. It's like 197 minutes. So it's like the funniest endurance test.
I sadly haven't seen it yet, but I've seen Rad Race.
Shout out to my boy Dylan F. Cause he loves that movie. That's the only reason why I'm shouting him out. Otherwise, he can go fuck himself. But
Oh yeah.
I love him though.
And then yesterday,
He's my
I
brother.
believe, or yesterday, yeah, we watched Yellow Submarine.
Yee! I was there.
Yeah,
I wish I could. I want to see that film.
Oh,
it's
it's
great.
fucking
it's like-
weird, but I loved it.
I'm a big fan of the Beatles, and I love this movie, and I love the music. I love the animation. It's like I want to imagine this movie on LSD because like this is like the safest LSD trip there is.
Dude, the next
Do
time
you even need like LSD for it, or you could
This
just
is
watch the
probably what
movie?
LSD is like.
I
Dude,
can
oh my God,
attest.
next time
The
watch it.
Beatles.
Next time I'm watching, I'm gonna smoke weed. I wish I could say
Yeah.
that, but weed isn't legal in Pennsylvania.
You live in Transylvania?
Just go to California.
It's okay. I don't know if it's legal
I
Wait,
here.
don't know. I
wait.
don't have a card.
Wait, Brian.
I don't even know if it's legal in Louisiana either.
Brian.
But and
Yeah.
then
Jack, is it legal
Yes.
in Australia?
Ew.
Damn it!
Right.
We all live in the butt ends of
Brian.
Like, just go to
places where we
LA.
get
Just
weed.
go to LA. Just go to
And
LA.
then
It's all
last
the way
night,
across the goddamn country, boy.
so last night I rewatched Kill Bill Volume 1, just as good as I remember it. And then I started Volume 2, but I was way too tired and a little bit drunk, and I couldn't keep myself awake, so I just went to bed. And I feel really bad because I've been wanting to finish Volume 2 for a while.
Yeah, I love both those.
I
movies
still
so
haven't
goddamn
watched
much.
Volume 2 all the way through.
It should have been one movie, but at the same time, if it was one movie, it would have been like 4 hours. So
I do intend on finishing Volume 2 soon, but Yeah, those are my first time watches or rewatches.
I got quite a bit of first time watches and rewatches to talk about.
Yeah,
so my
same.
first, which was a rewatch at a friend's house, I rewatched Back to the Future,
Nice.
which
The
I mean,
small indie film.
yeah, it's a small art house indie flick. Okay, it's not as indie as the next film I'm gonna talk about if you catch my Tokyo drift. But it's very indie. You know, it was made on like a $50,000. I don't know if you heard of it. It has this guy called, what is it? Michael J.
We
Fox?
get it.
I know. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, but yeah, I hadn't seen it in I think 2 years or something. So I'm glad I could rewatch it. Now it's bumped up into my top 25 of all time. I forgot how much I fucking love this movie. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It holds up so goddamn well, and I thought of so much, like, when you think about, like, the time travel, or basically, like, the deeper aspects of basically everything that, how do I want to explain this? Anyway, when you think
There's
about...
not much... I don't really feel like there's much deep metaphor behind Back.
No, I know that.
That's
I'm not saying it's like Mother or anything. It's just that I thought about that kind of thing. I don't know. I guess I'm weird. It actually made a lot of sense the more and more I thought about certain things in the movie happening with the... I don't know. It's hard to explain. But anyway, yeah, everyone's seen Back to the Future. Everyone loves it. Except maybe Mark.
Huh? What?
Mark, do you like Back to the Future?
It's okay.
Okay, close enough. Anyway, I watched this other...
So guys, that's about a 10 out of 10 for Mark.
Yeah,
Yes.
On
Also,
anybody
I watched
else's
this
scale,
other
it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I also watched this really other indie film that I ended up watching on Rabbit Stream because I kept memeing it. It's called Big Mama's House. Because it's a meme. I really
Why?
I don't know. I hate myself. Oh my god, it was so goddamn bad. I don't know
What were
why
you
I did it.
expecting?
I watched it ironically. I was expecting a masterpiece. I wish I didn't do it. Oh god, I'm still gonna meme it, but I don't condone anyone actually watching it. Also, Paul Giamatti's in it. What the fuck are you doing, man? Please get a better agent.
What the fuck?
Why is Paul Giamatti? I think Octavia Spencer, if I'm not wrong.
What?
Both Octavia Spencer and Paul Giamatti are in this movie. Oh my god. Why did I do this? Why? I hate myself. Actually, I guess I don't know. Whatever. Let's just keep going. Because I'm so regretful. Anyway, on another Rapid stream, I watched an actual good movie. I rewatched The Last Jedi.
Yes.
And on a third watch, I found more flaws with it. Because I watched the Rabbit stream with a guy who, like, absolutely hated the movie. And he kept explaining, like, everything that he hated about it. Like, every little detail that he hated about the movie, he kept explaining. Like, kind of like a
If
wild
I was
mess
in a
sort of
stream
guy.
like that, I would have just left.
Understandable.
Yeah,
but,
same.
But
I don't need a CinemaSins guy to be like, but you know, this shot is technically slightly off center.
if I'll be honest, I wasn't listening to, like, most of the shit that he was saying. I was just trying to watch the movie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he did make me think a little bit more about some of the flaws of the movie. But overall, as a whole, I still loved it. I love, like, how it feels more like a step up from The Force Awakens, kind of. And the idiots with no lives, and have probably never been laid in their lives, if they even have one, who want to remake this movie, good fucking luck. Because Disney owns the property, you don't, so you technically can't remake this movie legally, so good luck remaking it. Because you're not gonna
unless
do
you want to go ahead and do like a Be Kind rewind thing and make it on the budget of a ham sandwich.
So good
That
luck.
would honestly be hilarious.
So good
That
luck,
would
you
be
fucking.
hilarious.
So good luck, you fucking fat losers. Good luck. Go
To be-
ahead.
to
You're
be-
not gonna do it. You're
to-
gonna make it shit. You're not gonna do it. Just give up now.
Brian,
Man, I'm an asshole.
Brian.
No, they're the asshole.
Brian.
Okay, what is it, Mark?
You know they could actually remake it now if they wanted to. They could just use the fact that it's it's fan fiction.
I know, but I mean,
Fuck.
legally, they're gonna get sued by Disney if they do.
They just don't need to pay like cost people to watch it.
They're gonna fucking get sued.
Please, then
You've
it would teach them
devoted
a lesson.
enough time to the shitty Star Wars
Anyway,
fan.
fuck the Star Wars fan. But a couple days later, I watched another Rian Johnson movie. I've been getting into his movies, and I think he's a really good director. Looper.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I know Jack.
I need to see that.
Jack didn't like it. I don't like Looper because he hates everything. JK, that's
I hate everything. What the fuck?
Anyway,
Wrong person.
I hate everything. I'm British, and I don't like this film.
he's actually from New Zealand. Got him.
He was born in New Zealand, but he's very British.
Close
You look at him. Yeah, he was born.
Sorry.
I believe he was.
Sorry.
He said he was like born in New Zealand, but that was like 1 or 2, 3 years.
Anyway.
like he was there as a baby.
So yeah, I really like Looper. I loved the concept, and I loved how it was executed, and I thought the performances from Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt were great. Oh, I just called it a performance from Bruce Willis in this modern age. Great. What a shock.
What?
Are you telling me you didn't enjoy his Oscar-worthy performance in Death Proof? No, not Death Proof.
Death Wish?
Did anyone see that movie?
You're still going?
That and Moonrise Kingdom are like the last 2 good Bruce Willis movies. Besides the Oscar-worthy masterpiece that is A Good Day to Die Hard.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Anyway, next day, for the first time, trying to watch a lot more Criterion films that I didn't want to see this. Bowling for Columbine. Great
I
film.
really want to watch Bowling for Columbine.
Great film. Without spoiling anything, the ending is legitimately fucking amazing. If you know me and you know my political views, this movie pretty much like explains my own political views, so that's kind of why I loved it, I guess.
So you're happy with it that it just reaffirmed your opinion?
No, I mean, it's not just that. It's also just, well, I mean, mainly with documentaries, especially ones like this, it's kind of important that you, like, agree with what they're saying, I guess, in order to, like, really enjoy the movie for yourself, I guess. I don't know.
I guess. It depends.
But also, it's also, like, just a really well put together documentary with a lot of interesting things to say. And it's a shame that it didn't fix gun control in the way that it should have. And the next day I watched 3 movies. Holy shit. First 2 were first-time watches. First was 50-50.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Really, really good movie. Really good. All the performances were great. I'm usually not too big of a fan of Anna Kendrick, but she was really good in this movie. And,
really? Okay. I really, really like Anna Kendrick.
I mean, I do kind of like her. It's just sometimes she kind of gets on my nerves, but
Yeah.
Whatever. But I really love her in this movie, and great dramatic turn for Seth Rogen, though Steve Jobs is the king of dramatic Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized I've watched quite a bit of Joseph Gordon-Levitt movies recently. And I think this is probably, this and Brick are like my favorite performances I've seen from him so far. He's great in this. I love the story, and it does a great job being both funny and sad. And Philip Baker Hall, and it was goddamn hilarious. And after that, I also watched Life of Pi, also really good.
Yeah.
Though I wasn't invested all the way through. I would have given it a 9 or 4.5 weren't for the fact that at certain parts I felt a little bit uninvested. I think that's just my own fault, but whatever. So later that night, I also rewatched one of my favorite movies of the year so far, Game Night.
Yeah.
You gave that a 9 out of 10 though. Like, it's a good movie, but a 9? I don't really. I hate to be that guy, but a 9. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but a 9 out of 10 for Game Night?
I mean, I get what you mean by there. I get it. I can imagine being your perspective where you're just like, people are just overhyping this movie when you thought it was just like a 7 out of 10. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just pretty good. I don't think it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's pretty good. It's funny. It's shot nice. Performances
it's
are
just
nice.
something about the second watch. It's just I laughed a lot more this time around, and it's just made me realize just everything.
I rewatched it with my mom recently.
Anyway,
I just really liked it.
And also, my only 10 out of 10 besides rewatches that I gave for any of these movies is Rian Johnson's I think his first feature film, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Brick.
It's first.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, it's fucking amazing, and it's a shame that like no one's seen it or has, heard of it. Well, I mean,
a lot of. Are you sure about that?
No, I mean, it's getting more. It's
relatively popular.
Okay, sorry. No, I mean, well, somewhat popular. It's just. It seems like it's just. I'm just saying that it doesn't even. Fuck, I literally cannot say anything tonight. But it just still feels like it needs even more attention. You know.
Okay.
Like I don't know. It's just that it's like a film noir set inside of a high school, and the way that it has the film noir aspect is actually like really, really interesting. The music in it's great. The story is really intriguing. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's performance is amazing, and it's just a great thriller. And it's really well directed too. And it's my favorite Rian Johnson movie out of the ones that I've seen. I've seen all of his features besides The Brothers Bloom.
I really want to check out Brothers Bloom.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like Ryan Johnson, the weird thing is the film, aside from Brothers Bloom, which I really want to see, the film of his that I like the most is the ones that everybody hates, which is Last Jedi.
You haven't seen all of Brick though, boy.
I got like halfway. I don't really have any thoughts that much on Brick. I just didn't really care for it. It's like I just did not care at all in the story. I didn't care. I thought Jessica Levitt was great, but like I just didn't care. I was not. I had no investment whatsoever.
It's perfectly fine.
I'll give it a second shot one day. Though.
Okay. The next day, for the first time, you guys are probably gonna be shocked that I've never seen this movie before. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
I probably should have watched.
It's a really good movie.
I probably should have watched it around Thanksgiving, but I mean, whatever.
It's great any time of the year.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, also, but I just want to say something. If you guys think of what the best comedy ever made is, keep in mind wherever you may stay does not have a scene of John Candy singing the Flintstones theme on a bus. So you're wrong.
Yeah, and plus the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, one of the all-time classic comedy film scenes is when Steve Martin comes back into the airport and
with all those F-bombs.
He makes the R rating in one scene.
How may I help you?
You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. Then you can give me a fucking automobile, a fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick, 4 fucking wheels and a seat. And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile in my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now.
That's the scene that gave the movie the R rating.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The movie wouldn't have even been rated R if it weren't for that. But yeah, obviously a classic. There isn't even much to say. But next day I watched possibly a new contender for the worst movie I've ever seen. I also watched this movie ironically. I don't even want to fucking say the title.
It's Disaster Movie.
Yeah, Disaster Movie.
Disaster movie.
Disaster.
I don't know why you would
die.
torture yourself with that. There's like nothing you would get out of it.
You're right. I didn't get anything. In fact, I was expecting to be bad, but it's just I knew that it was just going to be an hour and a half of just shitty pop culture references. So I was like, okay, I'm prepared for this. But god damn, I was not prepared to just sit for an hour and 15 minutes because that's the accurate runtime. Just sitting there cringing my goddamn fucking hell. I wanted to. God damn it. It's so fucking bad. God damn it. It's so bad.
Epic movie. Just I know it's not Disaster Movie, but epic
I
movie
watched-
is without a doubt.
You know
the
what?
worst film I have ever seen
You
in
want-
my
you want me-
entire
you want
life.
me-
I watched that a lot as a kid and laughed a lot. And I want to punch preteen me in the fucking face.
You want me to give you something? I've seen scenes from Epic Movie because I watched a review of it. What I've seen of it is fucking Sis and Kane compared to Disaster Movie. It's not okay. Like you'd expect it to just be an hour and a half. Oh look, it's Iron Man beating the shit out of Juno. But at the same time, it's just there are things that could be considered actual jokes, but all of them are just fucking like who would find this shit funny? Disaster Movie. It's it's shit, but it's even worse than you think it'd be. And I think Suicide Squad is a fuck you to filmmaking, but at least I guess it had kind of a point. Also, Ike Barinholtz, like the comedian, he's in both movies, so fire that motherfucker's agent right away. Anyway, but anyway, the next day I watched an actual good movie. Okay, so I started this scavenger hunt. It's called the 2018 Death by Film Scavenger Hunt. You can probably look it up if you want to know the basics of it. And anyway, for the first day, which was a movie with a person's name in the title, I watched for the first time Edward Scissorhands. Obviously a great film. Next day, for the first time, I also watched the first Harry Potter. I haven't seen any of them yet. Or I've seen the first one now. But yeah, the second one was for a movie that grossed more than $300 million domestic all time. And the comment section of that review, of my review of the first Harry Potter, has turned into just, I don't even know anymore. Go look at the comment section if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the next day I watched 3 movies again. Holy fuck. I'm just cramming in so much movies, aren't I? Anyway, I watched for the first time my movie that's currently my new obsession, Juno. I've been listening to the soundtrack non fucking stop since yesterday. Jesus. And I just love the soundtrack of the movie so much, and I loved it. It's just I love the writing, the characters, and how it handles teen pregnancy. I could go into more detail, but I'm just gonna try and speed through because you guys are getting bored. And also,
It's
I
fine.
also watched with Jeffrey, like you said, Yellow Submarine. I really enjoyed the movie, but at the same time, when I was watching on Rabbit, there were like so many things that were distracting me in my house. Like there were things going on there that like I wanted to just get into a room where I could just sit down and watch this fucking movie with you guys and just be quiet.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the comment section for your Harry Potter review.
I know. You're welcome. Anyway, but yeah, from what I could pay attention to in the movie, it was fucking great. I'm a huge Beatles fan. In fact, I think that's an understatement. I just fucking loved their music, and I loved like how creative of a movie it was, and it's so weird, but it's so good. Also, later in the day, I also watched Hot Summer Nights. We already talked enough about that shit. And today I watched 2 movies. I went to the theater and saw Incredibles 2 again.
Nice.
Also, still great. In fact, I loved it even more than the first time. The flaws I had the first time didn't bother me as much. Though I still have my problems with it. Mainly the twist. Still, like I'm sick of all the twists that Disney's trying to do with their movies because it just gets more and more predictable as they go on.
Did the good guy actually a bad guy?
I'm fucking sick of that shit. And also, throughout the day, because I couldn't finish this movie all in one sitting because I kept having things to do, Signs.
Yes.
Really good. I know Jack.
I know Krimes is not the biggest fan of Signs, but
It's
I
not
really,
good.
really like Signs.
I
It's
really
not
liked it too. Though my biggest problem with this is that there were a couple, like I think it was just that there were a couple parts that just found, like a couple like little parts just felt like kind of like, a little bit. And
Explain.
No, in the way that it just felt like that, like
Just nothing impressive.
No, not that. In fact, I wouldn't even call it scenes bad. Just that some of the line delivery was a bit off.
Okay.
And, like,
For me, I feel like that is well, okay. What characters are you talking about?
I know. I think I know which one. Is it where Mel Gibson is at, like, they're eating dinner and he's like, "Oh, stop crying!"
No, I love that scene. I'm talking about this. Mainly the one that comes to mind is the scene in the car where Joaquin Phoenix is talking about like nerds with Greek mythology. And he's like, no, they're nerd. No, they're. I mean, I love Joaquin Phoenix and his performance is amazing, but I feel that the delivery of that line was a little bit off to me.
Okay.
There's some parts like
Yeah,
that.
just kind of like, but small nitpicks.
Yeah.
Kind of
Well, I mean, it's not even really a nitpick, just because there were probably a couple parts where that kind of thing happened, and it kind of. But I mean, in fact, I think I might give the movie like a 4.5 because that's really my only problem with it. Because everything else I loved, and also I will defend the twist till the day I die.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like two
easily
things.
explainable.
Yeah, the ending actually is like the thing with the ending. I hate how people like, it doesn't make any sense. Well, it does, because if you actually are paying attention, then it makes a lot of sense. And also the thing with aliens in the cupboard. Well, okay, for one, the aliens. It's not like they have like spaceship ray guns that they can use to break out with, and there was only one alien that was trapped in like in a pantry, and that had like 2 or 3 tables stacked on top of it. Yeah, it's gonna take a little while to get out there. And if you're also paying attention, he does get out of there, like for all we know, shortly after, because that's the same alien, without any spoilers, that we see towards the end of the film.
Oh yeah, and Signs was part of the Death by Film Scavenger Hunt, and it was for Day 4, a movie made the year you were born. And but yeah, I really enjoyed Signs, and like I love the ending. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I think it makes perfect. Actually, if you really think about it, it makes sense. Because people say like, well, I mean, I guess it's okay to spoil, because everyone is spoiled at this point. Fuck you, nostalgia critic. How many movies are there where it's like someone goes onto like space type movies or something like that, where it's like a person goes to a different planet, there's like tons of shit that they can't touch, like goo or lava or that kind of stuff. So people.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's also like a line of dialogue which I'm not surprised that you may have missed, but it's towards the end with the radio, and they're basically explaining that like the aliens had like nowhere else to go, so they were pretty much finding a place that had resources. Like this was their last place that they could go. So like, okay, this place, we'll take these humans, and they had no idea that water was their weakness. So, I think it kind of makes sense. And when you find out that, like, oh my god, that was their weakness, they just kind of bolt out there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why people may think that's like, oh, they can't touch water, but yet they come to a planet that's like 75% water. I can understand why probably someone would think that. It's just when you really think about it.
Brian, sorry, I hate to be that guy, but our body is like 75% water.
I'm not saying I agree.
The Earth is 92% water.
Fucking Christ.
It's okay.
You had to be that guy. You had to be that guy.
Hey, Visas, Michael here. Did you know the body is made of 70% water, but the Earth is made 90% of water?
Anyway,
Crazy, right?
I can understand why someone would pick on that plot hole. When you actually like really think about it, it actually makes quite a bit of sense. I don't know. I might talk about it in excessive detail at some point, but all I'm gonna say is that Joaquin Phoenix's performance and the kids' performances are great, but Mel Gibson is actually fucking incredible in this movie.
Yeah, it's one of his best performances.
It doesn't beat his Oscar-worthy performance as Daddy's Home 2, but it gets pretty close.
Of course, yeah. I just want to say, you can say all you want about him, but I will say this. I think Chris Stuckman did do a very good analysis on Science. Say what you want about him, but his science analysis video, I think, is pretty top-notch.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to regurgitate all of his points. It's just that, I mean, I do kind of want to just, I don't know. Is there anything in there that, I mean, I don't know if there's anything in that video that is different than what I think, I guess, but whatever.
There's a couple things that you may not have noticed.
I don't know. But I guess I need to watch the movie again before I can, like, get down and analyze it. But anyway, we're going for too long. Anyway, Signs is great, and I can't wait to watch more M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movies, even though there's only one more that I think will actually be legitimately great. And
have
the rest...
Have you seen Unbreakable?
Sadly, no, but I definitely will watch it before Glass.
Okay, great. Unbreakable is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. So
and I can't wait to watch The Happening.
Happening's pretty hilarious.
Oh man, I'm watching it ironically.
It's amazing.
Sure. And I'm assuming you've seen Split, right?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Yeah. I really like Split.
Yeah,
and I'll say this: I don't hate The Visit. I think it's, for what it is, I think it's okay. There's definitely some really bad aspects to it, but overall, I was like, fine. Look, for me, like, even the fact that he went from making crap like Last Airbender and After Earth to the fine Visit is like, I can commend him for that.
I'm not even gonna watch Last Airbender, ironically, because the parts that I think just look more boring than anything else. Like,
there are some hilarious moments, but there's not enough to make you want to watch it.
It just looks more boring than anything else. I think The Happening would be way more hilarious. In fact, same thing goes for After Earth. It just looks more boring than anything else.
Yeah, I'm not watching those movies.
I mean, what about The Village?
Well, I've seen The Village. The Village, that was kind of his turning point. It's not like terrible or anything. It's like a 4 out of 10.
Really?
Like, if that was the worst he got, that would have been that bad. The Village is not a very good film. But there are definitely some aspects of it that I really like. It looks really nice. And I do mean some of the performances are really good. Bryce Dallas Texas, as we previously mentioned, is good. Joaquin Phoenix, as always, is really good. And the music legitimately has an amazing soundtrack. But the part where that film really falls is the fact that the writing is god awful. Again, if you need some advice, listen to the soundtrack and watch the film on mute, because Roger Deakins actually shot that movie, and it is a beautiful looking film. There are some really gorgeous shots in that film, but in terms of writing, it's really bad.
Wait, what about?
There's a young Jesse Eisenberg in it as well.
Oh, really nice. Really? What about Lady in the Water?
Lady in the Water. I've seen parts of it. That's where he started getting really down the left lane. I'll say that it's another nice looking film, and Paul Giamatti is watchable, and it has about and the writing, I would say, is on par with The Book of Henry.
What?
It is another one of those. It is another one of those fascinatingly poorly written films. There's the kid that like starts reading messages that he interprets on the back of cereal boxes, and pretty much M. Night Shyamalan is the character that his writings are misunderstood at that time, and then will be basically be known as the. Okay, so M. Night Shyamalan plays like a character in that film, right? And he listen to how egotistical he writes his character. He is a character that is writing right now, and at the time, there's like this harsh critic that doesn't like him, and this woman from like the future says, "All right, your words in the future are going to be like the savior of mankind."
What?
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow. It wouldn't like the thing is that wouldn't be as bad if he casted someone else. The fact that he cast himself, my God, dude, are you? My God. Like,
Man.
it's so egotistical.
So, what about his best work as Stuart Little?
It's fine. He wrote it.
I love how you aren't even being ironic.
Like, whatever. I liked it when I was younger.
I think I've seen it when I was a kid.
I haven't seen it in years.
It's like, from what I remember, it was okay.
I mean,
Michael J. Fox's of Talking Mouse is nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Though I think the best thing come out of that movie is Filthy Frank's I Hate Spanish video.
Stuart Little. So I get home, and I put Stuart Little in the DVD player. And the whole movie's in Spanish! Spanish? Now, I like to think of myself as an open-minded person, but this is just going too far. What kind of a sick, deranged animal were you dropped on your head? Stuart Little is not a Spanish movie! I don't want to see Stuart eating a goddamn taco! Do you? Nobody does!
any other first-time watchers, fellas?
I got...
Jack, you want to... Okay, Mark, go through yours.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta sit back and fucking...
I'll be right back.
This. Oh. Rude. But, anyways, something I watched for the first time was this beautiful little movie called Happy Gilmore. For the first time.
Gotta get him, Gilmore!
God damn it. I did, you know, I went into it knowing that, it's old Adam Sandler. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, and it was okay. As a film, it was okay. I liked it. I actually did like it. I thought it was funny. Oh God, I don't know why I'm having a hard time admitting that I liked something. What? God damn it. Something else, I watched Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2 on a Rabbit stream.
Mark, I wanted to ask you, because this is one that I know you have watched recently, and I have actually... I did want to see it, and I know you weren't a big fan of it. What did you think of The Other Side of Hope?
The Other Side of Hope? What?
Yeah, it's on your diary. The Other
I
Side
know.
Of Hope.
What?
What? Yeah. What did you think of it? I was curious to know what you thought of it.
It was not good at all. It was so misguided.
The title sounds like a Christian movie.
It's not a Christian movie. It's like, it's a really, really poorly put together story about like immigration. I'm just fucking with y'all. It's just, it's weird. I not like bad weird. Like, I like weird movies. It's just, it's not good. It's so uninspired and uninteresting. It's like, I kind of have a soft spot for films involving characters who are refugees of, like, let's say another country that is dealing with like economical or social or political injustices. Like, I love Deepan. Deepan used to be like my favorite movie of all time. But god damn, this movie, you know, for 98 minutes, it feels incredibly long. You know what I'm saying? it's just such a bore, and I love the technical aspects behind it. It feels like a movie from the 70s, both aesthetically, like aesthetically, no, not just both. It is aesthetically a movie from the 70s, but made in 2017.
Nice.
I'm struggling to like think of things because overall it's just such a forgettable movie. I remember like being annoyed with it so much as well. It was just like
I hadn't known about it before you described the title, and I legitimately thought it was a Christian movie when you said it. That legitimately sounds like a Pure Flix movie.
It does.
it's
I'd seen the trailer for when I went to like a small theater, and it looked kind of interesting.
it wasn't it
Is
was
it about refugees? Is it about refugees who find the power of Jeebus
it's
when they are lost?
Okay, this is the bio from Letterboxd. The restaurateur best friends a Syrian refugee who has recently arrived in Finland. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Nothing happens in the entire fucking movie. It was like it was annoying. I remember being really annoyed with it, and I don't think it's a good sign whatsoever when you've watched a film and barely in like 10 days you forgot about it.
Damn.
I think that just kind of speaks for itself.
It sounds like me when we were talking about Hot Summer Nights earlier, because I remember yesterday I had like all my thoughts like rounded up, and today I was stuttering to remember exactly what I didn't like about it. That's why it was such a goddamn mess when talking about it. Well, I mean that's just me in general.
Yeah, but I saw The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 isn't that good, Part 2 is amazing. No, it's not amazing, it's like a 3 out of... I gave it like a 6 out of 10 or a 3 out of 5. There's some... It has a great ending to the Joker as a character. And it resolves Batman, the Joker, and just most of like the DC characters that I kind of cared for. Talked about Happy Gilmore, talked about Dark Knight, I'm gonna talk about a little movie that not a lot of people have seen. It's called Hype.
Okay.
Do any of y'all know about it? Yeah, it's Hype is a 1996 documentary about
that Hype. I am hyped to see it now because of your recommendation.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's a documentary basically around the basis of the grunge scene in like the mid 90s, like how it blew up with bands like Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Mouse Rat. Like it's a bunch of like bands, and they got a lot of interviews, a lot of them from the producers of the people.
Is my favorite band Big Time Rush in it? I'm sorry, I had to. No, I didn't have to. Just forget I said anything. Just forget I even exist. Just keep.
Okay. I saw this movie called Liberal Arts, starring Ted Mosby, and it was horrible. It was not a good movie. It's basically let's try really hard to be pseudo-intellectual, but let's fail incredibly harder. Because the movie just feels like it's stuck up its own ass. It's sniffing its own farts in the worst possible way, and I mean the worst possible way. Because it's basically like, everybody's so pretentious, and I know that, like, I'm pretentious, and this is coming from somebody who is pretentious. This movie, the characters are so unlikable due to the fact that they are pretentious. They talk like, oh, well, like, every single conversation they have is about philosophy, and it's about, God, and it's just annoying. And then there's this love relationship between this 36-year-old and this, like, 20-year-old, and I mean, like, she's actually 20, and it's, like, it's not developed whatsoever, and it doesn't even feel real. But they try so hard to make it be like, don't you get it? They're just a really good connection. Like, the movie continues to pat itself on the back. It's like, it's such a good connection, you guys. Look at this. I mean, they're writing with letters. Isn't that something cute? It's cute, right? I mean, look at this world full of technology, but they're writing with letters. Look at how cute and quirky this is. Yeah. And then you fucking... Oh my god, they had, like, It's like a 10-minute filling of just them going back and forth on letters. And it's spoken apart, it's spoken aloud, and it's like, he describes how he begins to enjoy Beethoven, and how, because he lives in New York, he's like, it makes me appreciate the city to a finer degree than I ever have before. It's like, what? What the fuck? What?
This sounds unbearable.
It's horrible. It's unbearable. Like, I wanted to shut it off, but my mom was like, I've never seen you shut off a film. And I was like, you're right. You're right. I need to sit through this. It's the worst kind of up your ass type, like, sensibilities in a film. It's just plain annoying. There's no intriguing points made in the film. There's a segment where the character, played by Ted Mosby, aka the guy from How I Met Your Mother, where he's just like, he's bitching to this girl that he's in the relationship with, or they're not set in stone at the time. But he's like, how can you read Twilight? Twilight is such a bad book. Nobody is allowed to like Twilight. And then she's like, have you even read it? And he's like, no. And then they devote 10 minutes to them arguing about Twilight.
Jesus Christ.
And it's just...
What movie did you watch?
It's called Liberal Arts, and it's not good. Then they're just, like, talking about Twilight, and then, I mean, there's some idea of,
Is that the movie about the film school?
Yep. No, it's not about film school. It's about a liberal arts school. Then they're kind of, like, tongue-in-cheek at it, because they're just like, oh, well, how can you fucking critique something that somebody likes? How can you be the gatekeeper of what is considered bad and what is considered good? And it's like, it's just painful, and it doesn't really make anything, like, any new statements on any of these ideas that it taps at. Like, it doesn't even touch, it just, like, taps you on the shoulder, and it's like one of those people who goes up behind you, taps you on your shoulder, you turn around, there's nobody there, and you turn back around, and they're on the other side of you. That's the epitome of that movie. Except it's like, it's like, it doesn't know how to move quick enough, so it's just stuck there tapping your shoulder, and when you turn around, it's still there tapping your fucking shoulder. It's annoying. It was such a bad movie. What's another movie I watched? Sorry to Bother You.
I still need to see it.
I won't be able to see it here because it's not coming out. Like, I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know.
Sorry to Bother You. It was really good. I actually liked it. I know I said that I didn't like. I thought I wouldn't like it, but it was, in a way, it was kind of like the Florida Project, because I remember watching the trailer and thinking, oh my god, this looks like horrible and cringy. And Sorry to Bother You, I just thought it was really unfunny. And when I saw the movie, it was really unfunny. But the dialogue for me, like, do you know how there's that modern comedy where it's like, okay, you just gotta try and be crude with the dialogue, and it's kind of funny. People will giggle.
Read her butts.
Yeah, except with this, it's like, white people do this, and white people do that. Like, hey.
White people be crazy, but black people also be crazy.
White people be like.
Yeah, there's a point in the movie, like, where he's just like, and it's a toast for the homies, and some for me, in his white voice, and there are points where it works, I will admit. I do find some things that they said funny. Not a lot of it, though, because it's just like, yeah, toasting is some white people shit, and then the audience laughed. I was like, what? Was that a joke? I think this movie is genuinely, like, hilarious, but it's not the dialogue that makes it funny. It's the situations and just...
How was Armie Hammer?
Whew, Armie Hammer, he's good. He's good in the movie. He's very brief in it, though. Like, the trailers kind of make it seem like he's more, like, involved, but he's barely in, like, let's say, like, 15 minutes of the movie.
Don't spoil anything.
I won't. But, it gets super weird, the last third act. Like...
Don't say a thing.
I'm just
Jesus, don't you trust Mark to not spoil anything?
I'm very sensitive. I've been hyped about this movie.
It's good. I think you'll like it. If you're gonna go in like, oh my god, this looks so good, you're probably gonna like it until the third act, because the third act is something completely different from any...
Well, I'm even more excited now.
I haven't seen a trailer and I barely know anything about it.
It's
so... I'm assuming that's the best way to go into it.
It's so, like, the third act...
I would recommend a trailer.
Yeah, the trailer. Wait, no, I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't recommend the trailer because the trailer makes it seem like something completely different, honestly, than what it actually is.
Okay.
Like, there's a constant, dare I say, political undertone, but that's not because like, oh, it's not trying to push a message. It's basically just because the politics in this world, like this alternate timeline of America, like there's political crashings, like there's riots and there's protests always happening like around the street. Like it's almost like Mother, except in a city.
Wow.
Oh hell yeah!
I fucking can't wait for this. Do they all have a giant orgy at the end?
Sadly, no, but
Sorry, I just like making that joke whenever I predict it.
there is horse wang a lot in this movie. There's a lot of horse wang.
Just out of Mark, I just wanted to, just out of curiosity, are you at all looking forward to Black Klansman? Black Klansman, are you looking forward to Black Klansman?
Fucking believe that.
Yeah, I actually am looking forward to Black Klansman. I think that actually.
Mark looking forward to a movie?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right?
Sorry,
I am looking forward to Black Klansman.
To make
You know,
that joke.
something I found, because I actually rewatched not only Jurassic World, but Sorry to Bother You today. I rewatched both of them at the theater, so I gave them 2 times my money.
Nice.
Something
you gave
I noticed.
more money to Jurassic World than Sorry to Bother You. Just let that sink in.
Yeah, I paid money for
Shameful.
both of those, but
Sorry to bother you. More like sorry to snub you.
it's kind of hard to explain Sorry to Bother You because it gets so off like rails so quickly. It kind of gets a bit messy though. That's the thing that keeps me from giving it like anything above a 3.5. It gets really messy.
Without
Both
spoiling anything, do you oh sorry, but do you think with Keith Stanfield's character this could probably be like a prequel to his character in Get Out?
No, I especially at the ending, absolutely not.
Like he gets kidnapped at the end and he ends up being like the slave.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I don't know the ending, so who knows if that happens. I'm just
Absolutely
saying that'd be
not,
an interesting way to tie those 2 movies together.
I think there is definitely going to be a point where anybody who watches Sorry to Bother You, you are going to think that a character is dreaming, but guess what? A character is dreaming or they're tripping balls horribly. Guess what? They aren't. Like, for, 10 minutes, I was like, I'm waiting for them to wake up, or I'm waiting for them to be like, this is just some weird, trippy hallucination. But no. It sticks with it, and it's like, it's kind of horrifying, honestly. But it's also kind of hilarious, just the whole situation. It's, for me, sometimes when I find something kind of terrifying, I just have no other reaction other than to laugh. That's why I think Killing of a Sacred Deer works amazingly as a comedy.
Or that's why you don't like Hereditary?
Yeah, that's why I don't. Well, I mean, Hereditary I didn't really find, like, scary, but it's a subjective thing. I also don't think it works that well as a family drama. That's just me, though. But, I think, yeah, it taps, like, into the body horror element and comedy, and it's a lot of different things. And I really, it has a lot of energy. It has so much energy, and it's incredibly original. And I would recommend anybody, like anyone, who is not uncomfortable seeing a bunch of, because this is something that actually happened. The Regal, or the cinema that I went to, they played all the trailers for all of the Black movies that were going to come out this year. Because, why? Because it was a Black movie. Like, when I went to go see Jurassic World, I didn't see any of the trailers for any of the movies that I saw for Sorry to Bother You.
I was on a Rab stream, they pulled up this movie that I'm assuming played before called The Hate You Give. And it looks like a fucking commercial from the trailer.
Yeah, it does. They played, for Sorry to Bother You, they played Black Klansman, the new, Tyler Perry movie that he's working on.
When he's making a new movie?
Yeah, he's making a new movie.
No, that's been out. In fact, I think it's out on Blu-ray already.
No, it's not. He made a new one where it's like this girl gets catfished. Like this girl gets catfished, and then they go down to hunt the guy, and he lives in a trailer.
I don't think it is.
I think it's a completely different movie I'm talking about. But they showed all, like, and then at Jurassic World they showed, like, the Meg, and all this other stuff. They didn't even, none of the trailers that I saw from fucking Sorry to Bother You.
I think Hereditary is the only movie I got that trailer before, which is odd.
For Sorry to Bother You?
No, the Meg.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Wow.
absolutely fantastic.
Very similar films. Can I
Yeah.
go through some of my watches?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go through some of these relatively quickly. Vampire's Kiss. Amazing Nicolas Cage performance. Am I getting through to you? It's amazing. I love it.
And you have to do it.
You have to, or I'll fire you. Do you understand?
I fucking love Nicolas Cage. I fucking love Nicolas Cage.
Me too. I watched Purple Rose of Cairo due to Brian's recommendation. It was pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
That's an odd way to say amazing.
It was good.
I respect your opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Not one of Alan's best in my opinion, but certainly I would definitely put it on like the better side of his work.
Actually,
I really liked it. Mia Farrow was really great, and Jeff Daniels was also really, really great. It was just really, really good.
Actually, I have a question for you. What is your favorite Woody Allen movie?
My favorite.
Isn't it Midnight in Paris for you?
Maybe Midnight in Paris. I do need this.
How many of them have you seen?
I think like 10 or 11.
Okay.
There's a couple that I still really want to see. Husbands and Wives, I want to check out. Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Crimes and Misdemeanors is really good. Oh, Manhattan's amazing too.
Yeah, I really want to see Manhattan, Match Point. There's a couple others there. But yeah, probably the ones that I've seen, probably Midnight in Paris. I think Midnight in Paris is just such like a really easy, sweet film.
Oh, but Annie Hall.
Oh yeah, Annie Hall. I wouldn't put Annie Hall as one of my favorites, but it's a really, really good film.
Okay.
It's definitely one of his best, but I never just have a day where I feel like watching Annie Hall, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Makes sense.
I just gotta say, I absolutely love the scene in Midnight in Paris where
Adrian Brody?
Orson Welles. Owen Wilson is like in the gallery with his friends, and then he like completely proves them wrong, and then there's that amazing awkward pause where he just completely walks out of the shot. That's actually hilarious.
God, I love Midnight in Paris.
Wait, are you talking about the one where he's like,
just a knockout?
just a knockout in the sack? Knockout in the sack.
I love that shot.
It's weird to see Rachel McAdams playing such a bitch in that movie, though.
Yeah.
Oh God, she's such a bitch.
I mean, you're so used to seeing her just play like the sweet, I mean, not like flat, boring.
No, yeah, just like the really like
but
humble,
you know what I mean.
sweet character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you see her play like an asshole in this one, and just like
Like in Game Night.
Anyway, just anyway, so very similar film. I watched Gotti. Gotti sucks.
I watched half of that on a Rabbit stream.
Garbage. It is so bad. John Travolta is terrible in this movie.
Well, I guess you're just a troll behind a keyboard.
Jesus.
Oh god.
I was just about to make that joke. Anyway,
I love
we'll
the
watch that on
advertising behind it. Gotti. Okay, I'll say this. There are like, in terms of like, I don't think it's 0% bad, but it's bad. It's like a bad movie. I'll give it this. I think some of the makeup is good. I thought some of the gun violence in the film is actually pretty good. And the lighting I kind of liked in some of the scenes. Other than that, it's like really, really bad. It's bad.
I mean, okay, so I watched. Yeah. I actually have seen a little bit of Gotti, but because we watched it I was on a Rabbit stream where me and some friends were watching it, and I had it on mute because I sometimes do it on Rabbit streams where I just like talking to the people on there so much that I just mute the whatever we're watching, and there were some parts where I unmuted it just because I wanted to hear what the hell was going on, and what I've seen of it looked like a student film made by a student that was trying so hard to be Scorsese that they just failed.
In fact, I don't know. Have you seen like the very first shot is like unintentionally hilarious. It's just like John Travolta. It's the very first shot of the film, and it's just like John Travolta looking at like a bridge, goes like, "You know what? I got it. I wasn't always the man I was," or something.
I don't remember any of the parts. I've seen any of them.
So bad.
I wasn't the man I used to be.
He's actually pretty hilarious at some points. I was laughing my ass off at some of like his horrible line delivery.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is it like Goodfellas?
And scored by Pitbull.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, so I'm just imagining, like, in the middle of, like, Gotti in an interrogation scene, like, the violins are, like, screeching, and then you just hear...
Call me Mr. Worldwide. Listen, why they call me Mr. Worldwide? Why you think they call me Mr. Worldwide?
Sicario, Day of Soldado. I was really, really looking forward to this film. I think the first Sicario is really fantastic. I love the first Sicario. And despite the fact that I didn't really feel like it needed a sequel, it did get, like, the same composer back, plus Benicio and Josh Brolin. I wish, we could have kept Denis Villeneuve and...
Roger Deakins.
I forgot. Roger Deakins, yes, that was the name I was looking for. And as for this, I was very underwhelmed. I came out of this film, and I think I liked it, but it went from, like, Sicario was, like, a 9 out of 10 for me, and Sicario 2 was, like, a 6. There are some great, and I really do mean, there are some really fantastic scenes in Sicario 2, but the problem is, there are some boring scenes as well. And I get that. That's kind of what you get for the genre. But the other thing is that a lot of people... I'm not going to give it away. But the thing is with the ending, that will be the thing that will either make or break the film for you. I am very in the middle on it. I don't know if I love it or I hate the ending. It's like... And by the ending, I'm meaning, like, the last, like, 10 seconds of the film. The stuff that's just right before the ending with Benicio del Toro is... freaking fantastic. I loved that whole sequence with him.
I have a vendetta against that movie because, my God, is it the most pointless sequel you could ever pull out?
Well,
because here's the
there
thing.
are definitely. I didn't think it needed to happen, but after watching it, it's. I feel like it could, work. It could have worked out much better. Yes, did it need to exist? But I think for what it is, it definitely. They did make it seem like it had a point.
I mean, just the thing is, it's kind of, from the trailers looks like a discount version of the first. Like, I really like the first. I think it's not Villeneuve's best by a long shot in my opinion. It's just because I find his other work to be, like, so much stronger. But I do really like it. I think it's like a really solid 8 out of 10, and it's an amazing film to stand on its own. I mean, it's just, what next? Are we gonna get a Rival 2?
This definitely serves more of a point than that. It does kind of continue the plot line of a character.
I can't wait for a Rival 2 directed by Neville Dean and Taylor.
Oh God, no.
Oh,
Actually,
please.
yes. Let's get a Neville Dean and Taylor.
Holy fuck! The aliens come back, but this time they're mad.
No, you already know what's
the
gonna
aliens
happen.
come back and they're all just Jason Statham.
Yes. They're all voiced by Jason Statham.
No.
Okay, wait, Mark, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, we're gonna have Adam Driver go into the spaceship, and he's gonna yank one of the squids out of the wall, and he's gonna drop kick it.
Nice.
And then he's gonna rip the ink out of it.
Oh, he just goes cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower. And Seth MacFarlane, a big ass mustache, just comes out of nowhere.
Seth MacFarlane, like, is the worst part about Logan Lucky.
I didn't mind him.
I hate Seth MacFarlane and just everything, but
Jesus,
Seth MacFarlane is just awful in that movie. He's so bad.
I mean, at the same time, I was kind of like, his performance on his own is like, it's annoying, but I mean, it's just like whatever. But at the same time,
you could have cut him out of the film.
But at the same, it kind of was odd in the rest of performances are like grounded and it feels like a real movie, and then you get Seth MacFarlane who's just playing a fucking cartoon character.
Yeah,
the entire
at least
time.
like Hilary Swank is also really like poorly directed in that film, but at least her character kind of had a point.
Hillary
like,
Clinton?
She didn't even show up until the last 10
We're talking
minutes.
about Logan Lucky.
Anyway,
let's...
God. Oh God. Oh
What?
God. Oh God. Oh God. That was like the most disappointing movie of last year for me.
Damn. Oh, there you. Logan Lucky's a great.
I like it. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Anyway, continuing.
Okay,
I watched
sorry.
Death on the Nile. I'm going through like I've been in a bit of a murder mystery whodunit kick recently. My boy Carson got me on that, but
Dude,
Death on
Carson's
the Nile.
fucking awesome. I love Carson.
Oh yeah. Death on the Nile. It's really, really great. I think it's much better than the original Murder on the Orient Express. Death on the Nile. I do feel like at the beginning it kind of takes way too long with the setup, but other than that, when the murder does happen, it's gripping and it's so much fun. I loved watching it. Really great movie. good one to watch with your parents too. I really fun movie. I watched it with my mother. We loved it. It was great. Good time. Lovely Friday night experience. What else? I watched the Helen Mirren Queen movie. The pinnacle of films that nearly 16-year-old boys love to watch.
I'm a 16-year-old boy, and that movie looks fucking boring. I'm offended.
Okay. I'll say this. Helen Mirren is really, really great. The thing is, the reason I really wanted to watch it is because it has, I believe it has the writer of Frost Nixon, and that film, is so good. That film is so well written. The script for Frost Nixon is freaking fantastic. I love this. I love Frost Nixon. It's such a fascinating film. It's got Sam Rockwell in it. Such a great movie. Just tell you, Frost Nixon is such a great movie. And I was expecting more of that similar type of writing from The Queen. The Queen was okay. There were some really great scenes scattered in there, but mostly it was fine. I wasn't bored. I was more just like, yeah, fine. Anyway, I don't really have a lot to say about it. Oh, I did watch both of The Raids. They are really, really fun movies. A little too long in areas, but I really, really like both of them. That's all I really have to say. Scent of a Woman. Have you guys seen Scent of a Woman?
Not yet, but I do find it weird that Al Pacino didn't win an Oscar for any of his classics back in the day, and then he just randomly wins an Oscar just out of nowhere for a movie you wouldn't expect him to win an Oscar for.
What film?
Scent of a Woman.
To be before then, aside from he was in a lot of
I'll be right back.
But I think Scent of a Woman was like a really big film from what I heard, so I could understand that. Scent of a Woman, by the way, one of Al Pacino's best performances. Scent of a Woman has one of Al Pacino's best performances.
No.
And it actually, what has one of the best Al Pacino performances? Krimes?
Jack and Jill.
Oh yes,
of course.
The Dunkachino. The Dunk.
What's my name? Dunkachino. Dunkachino.
Dude, we need that to become like the most popular meme of all time.
Yes.
Say hello to my chocolate blend.
Yes. Oh my god. I love our meme podcast. Yes. Anyway. Yeah.
So Scent of a Woman, it actually showed me that Chris O'Donnell could actually act.
Oh, what?
He's actually great in Scent of a Woman. He's really, really good in Scent of a Woman. I really, really loved it. It was really good. And then I watched the following day, Set It Up. It's a film that a lot of people have been like, wow, this is a really good Netflix rom-com. It's got 97 or something on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm like, okay, it looked generic, but I will give it a shot. This is one of the most generic rom-coms I have ever seen. I don't know what I was expecting.
I am not surprised at all. It looks just from the fucking poster, it looks like the most just average, unspecial, bland movie of all time.
I called
Sounds
it
like Love, Simon.
In my review, Love Simon's superior, at least.
To what? To the kissing booth?
With what was it called? Set It Up. I'm already forgetting the name of the title. I call it bland, but even then, this is like one of the most bland. This is not only just bland. This is sawdust in oatmeal on wholemeal toast in a rice cake.
Honestly, how am I not surprised? I am just not shocked at all.
Okay, continuing. I watched a really great film, Atonement. Have any of you guys seen Atonement?
Not yet, but
I haven't.
Yeah. For both these first-time watches, we both watched 2007 Best Picture nominee. For me, it was Juno. Which I'm still surprised the movie got nominated for Best Picture. It's not the type of movie that I would expect to get nominated for BP. Whatever. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. But Atonement, really great movie. I would say it's a little slow for the first half hour, but after that, it's really, really great. Amazing performances. Keira Knightley is great. There's a young Saoirse Ronan in there, and she's really awesome.
Do you just call her Saoirse Ronan?
Saoirse Ronan. She's got an accent, laddie.
Yeah. She's very Irish.
Very Irish. Sorry. But of course, the best actor of them all is the man himself, James McAvoy.
Yes, blessed.
Just one of the best, one of my favorite actors who are working today. I love James McAvoy. He is so good. Oh my god, I love James McAvoy. Sorry. This is a side note. If any of you guys get the chance, please, for the love of God, watch Filth. He is incredible in Filth.
I will.
He's so good in that movie.
Don't worry, I will.
Krimes, have you seen Filth?
Seen what?
Filth with James McAvoy.
A film with James McAvoy?
Filth with James McAvoy.
Oh, I thought you were saying, have you seen a film with James McAvoy? I'm like,
No.
I'm pretty sure. No, I
Have you seen Filth? Have you seen Filth?
No, is it filthy?
Oh, it's the biopic on Filthy Frank.
Oh, okay.
God,
It's not.
Does James McAvoy,
it's
does he
great.
narrate?
It is a great film, though. It's another one of those films that you'll either love or hate, but I freaking love it.
I'm guessing I'll probably
His
hate
character
it.
is like, he's a Scottish cop, and he's like this disgusting, sleazy one that's like does drugs and has sex with lots of women. It's so good. Oh my god, and he owns every single scene of that film. I love it. Oh, it's so good.
Do you love me? Do you hate me?
Oh, and I do believe it was written by either the main writer or one of the co-writers of Trainspotting, so there's
What?
that as well. Yeah,
Filth
yeah.
or Atonement?
Filth.
Hold the phone. Trainspotting. Well, I mean, they both kind of look like similar movies, actually. So, yeah.
Continuing. My cousin Vinny. It was okay. Ralph Macchio.
I really like that movie.
Yeah. I love the way that Ralph Macchio goes, "Hey, what's going on, cousin Vinny?" It's so over the top. It was fine.
I mean, that's the point, though. You know?
Yeah, I know it's over the top. I just find that funny. Yeah. It's a good movie. Joe Pesci, great, of course. I like Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
I watched the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I really liked it. It's very cheesy indeed, but I have like a big soft spot for like classic Universal monster movies and those kinds of really trashy monster mayhem films of like, you know, the 50s, 60s, and earlier. I'm also a really big fan of the classic Universal monster movies, but that's kind of beside the point. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I really like it. It's, again, very dated, but that kind of adds to the charm to me. I really also want to see the remake that a lot of people say is really great, with Donald Sutherland and Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I thought you were about to say. I thought there was a really bad remake, and then I realized I got confused with Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh no! I'm talking about the remake. Is very, very famous. More famous than the first, actually. And then
So
the
it's like
next
a
day,
Think situation.
Yeah. I would say that. The next day, I watched, without a doubt, the most insulting, the worst, the absolute worst film of 2018 that I've seen so far. This film is total garbage. I hate this film. I hate this film. Hated it. I hated it so much. I felt pretty.
Sounds like me during Disaster Movie.
I felt pretty. Screw this movie. Actually, screw this movie. This is the worst. This is bottom of the barrel dog shit.
Are any of us surprised to hear that?
I'm not
it's an
surprised
Amy
at all,
Schumer
but
movie?
Now I'm even more happy I bailed on a free screening of this.
I detest
Same.
Amy Schumer as both a comedian and a person.
the worst, the absolute most insulting piece of garbage I've seen so far this year. May there be a worse film I see so far this year? Or sorry, see in the future? Possibly. But in terms of one that just, like, no effort, and the comedy, like, here's one of the things. When it comes to comedy, when you fail at, like, being funny, that can be some of the least enjoyable, like, viewing experience. Like, a bad horror movie, that can be, like, funny. When you're a comedy that isn't funny, that's, like, one of the worst kinds of films. It is so horrendously unfunny. You will want to die just, like, after watching the first 15 minutes of it.
Gotta watch Action Point, dude.
Why is Michelle Williams in it?
Oh yeah, she's in it for like
What?
5 minutes.
Like,
Right?
yeah, but like
Jesus.
Michelle Williams.
Fire your
she-
agent.
Please.
Yeah, she needs firing.
First The Greatest Showman, then
really
this.
weird.
Now Venom.
She talks like this throughout the entire movie, and it's like really weird
my
and annoying.
God, I'm crying for my girl.
How
Only
the hell?
my second girl.
Dude,
Crying
My
for my
God.
like third girl. Jesus. First The Greatest Showman, now this.
And then Venom.
Christ. Oh yeah, and then Venom. Jesus, Michelle. Let me give you a hug.
Agents.
Anyway, so later that day, I watched two far better films. The first being a film that I, at first, was considering a 9 out of 10, but they brought it down to an 8. But I could see giving it a 9 out of 10 in the future. It's called The Hours. This film is great. This film is great. Brian, this film, you will love The Hours, I am sure.
I
This
know.
is very good.
What
I
about Krimes?
loved it.
What about Krimes?
I think you would really like it. Hopefully, I think you'd like it.
Hey, you guys want to know why I know I love the hours? Here, you'll probably know.
Rockwell.
No, Rockwell.
Also, here's the it's also got an amazing cast too. A lot of twists and turns that I did not expect. There are the connections between the characters where it's like, oh, that is actually really interesting the way you see it, and that actually kind of changed your perspective on the character. It's a really, really good film. And plus, Nicole Kidman's character, I watched the whole film knowing that, like, oh, okay, when's Nicole Kidman in this movie? I had no idea that she was one of the main characters. I even looking at, like, I even went back to certain scenes. I cannot, maybe it's because of the makeup, but I cannot see Nicole Kidman in this movie. I don't know if it's just me, but, like, I do not see Nicole Kidman whatsoever. It's so, like, completely different. I can't see her. It's weird. Like, if you look at even if you look at the poster, there's Julianne Moore, there's Meryl Streep, and then there's this other woman who's Nicole Kidman. And I know Nicole Kidman. I have seen my fair share of Nicole Kidman. I do not recognize her as Nicole Kidman.
Very interesting. I've always wanted to see it, not just because Julianne Moore is in it, just because it also looks really good as well. You know.
Yeah. But, like, are you looking at the poster too? Because, like, Nicole Kidman, she looks nothing like Nicole Kidman.
Holy fuck.
I would never have guessed in a million years.
Wait a minute, that's Nicole Kidman? Holy fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, she's the one right next to Julianne, right? Holy fuck.
Yeah,
that's Nicole Kidman?
Yeah. Because on the cover there's Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, and you can tell who those are. And then there's Nicole Kidman. I can't see it. It's amazing.
Fuck. Jesus, no wonder she won an Oscar for this.
Yeah, she has an amazing performance, by the way. So following on, I'll try and speed this up because.
Oh wait, Jack, not to interrupt, but I just realized you watched a Julianne Moore movie and a Sam Rockwell movie on the same day. You trying to get me to stand?
This was unintentional, but I realized, yes, this is really great, isn't it?
You want me to stand, don't you?
I need.
Okay, continue.
So following that, Matchstick Men. This movie's really good. This is definitely one of Ridley Scott's highly underappreciated films. I think the first half can be a little slow at points, but the performances really make it. And the second half is freaking great. And the ending, wow. Really, really impressive ending. Never expected it. It is an ending that, without spoiling anything, completely pulls the rug out from underneath of you. Of course, performances are amazing. Sam Rockwell, as always, is so good. The young girl, Alison Lohman, I believe her name is. I don't really think I've seen much else from her. She's really good in the film. And, of course, though, the star, Nicolas Cage. This is one of those films that I will constantly bring up as one of those films that really shows that Nicolas Cage can really give a great performance, because he is freaking great in this film.
Right up there with adaptation?
Yes, I would say that. I haven't seen all of the adaptation of this. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute, no, wait. Like, I remember, like, you know how on Letterboxd they have, like, all the people who have seen a movie on there, like watched on there. Well, you're on there, but there's no rating, so I thought you had seen it.
Is that?
I remember seeing that on there, and I was like, oh, he probably has seen this. Just he was confused by it, which is understandable. Seen all that.
Wait, let me see this. Let me see.
Don't you mark that as watched?
No, I think before I mistook it for another film and put the score on there. My bad.
Well, watch it. It's fucking amazing.
I've wanted to. I've needed to finish it. The stuff that I saw was really good. But anyways, Nicolas Cage in Matchstick Men, he's really, really, really good. I highly recommend just watching it for him. He's amazing. And plus, you do get the great scene at the chemist where he's like,
"Hey, have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and being until you pissed blood?"
Following that, I watched an Australian film that none of you have heard of, called I Love You Too, which is written and stars a very popular Australian comedian, Peter Hellier. Now, I have a friend who is the nephew of Peter Hellier, and he recommended the film to me because I hadn't heard of it, and I watched it, and I thought it was, and I really, really liked it. So I told my friend, hey, thanks for recommending this film. I made this little review if you want to have a look at it. So what my friend does, he takes that review and sends it to Peter Hellier, and he responds with, thanks, mate, but you should have made it a 4 out of 5 instead. So I briefly changed my score to a 4 out of 5.
Oh.
and he said that, thanks, I really wish I could have done that with all of the reviews.
Nice.
That was really funny. Ant-Man and the Wasp, we already talked about that. I watched the original Michael Caine Italian job. And I'll tell you this, it has not aged very well. There are a lot of like really, yeah, it hasn't aged very well. I don't know, it's not aged well.
How does it compare to the Edward Norton Marky Mark remake?
Well, I think the remake is because I think they're both just okay. I think they're both fine movies. I thought the remake was fine, and I think the original was fine.
I think they both have their moments, really great moments.
No, yeah, I would say that as well.
Honestly, I think I have more fun watching the old version.
Well, okay.
I think the older one is funnier. Lest we forget Michael Caine's quest line.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
The remake has Edward Norton and Dirk Diggler in the same movie, so it's automatically the best movie ever.
In terms of the remake, I thought the remake was okay, and I think the original is okay. I think some of the car chase scenes in the original are really fun. There's some Michael Caine is like, of course, it's like an iconic performance, and he's really great. And the ending, I really, really love the ending. It is
literal cliffhanger.
One of the films that coined the term the cliffhanger, and it was really great. Yeah, it's really, really, really funny. I really enjoyed the ending. As for everything else, it was fine. I watched a film. Shocking news. Empire of the Sun. I loved it. Oh, it was so good. So good. Empire of the Sun is a really, really great film, and I would honestly put it up there with maybe some of Spielberg's best work. One of the best. And I really do mean one of the all-time best child performances by a young Christian Bale, who is amazing in that film. He is so good. I really feel like it's a bit understated when people talk about like the best war dramas, because it is so good. It's over like 2 hours, and I pretty much invested every second of it. Let's say there are also some other really, really great performances in there as well. Of course, Christian Bale is, great as the kid, but John Malkovich is also really good in it, and I forget his name, Joe Pantoliano. Yeah, that guy.
Or like
that guy.
People call him Joey Pants.
That's a good name.
Yeah, but the guy that talks like this, that was in the 90s movies. He was in The Goonies and The Fugitive, and he was that guy from Memento.
Lenny!
I already say this in a tweet, so just in case you haven't heard this, I just want to say this. The first time I watched that movie, I think, if I can remember correctly, I think for like a half second I confused it for Bill. It's easy to confuse with a Bill Burr, but I think for like at least a half second I might have thought it might have been him. So I can't remember correctly. But what I'm saying is that I think the idea of remaking Memento is a fucking stupid idea. But if they're going to do it, please, for the love of God, whatever Hollywood hack is going to direct it, please cast Bill Burr as Teddy. Oh my fucking God. That would be perfect.
You haven't got a clue, you freak.
You haven't got a fucking clue.
Oh, by the way, a little fun fact about Memento. The words "you freak" at the beginning are dubbed by Christopher Nolan.
Holy fuck.
Really?
Yeah, like where it goes like, you haven't got a clue, you freak. When he says "you freak," those two words were dubbed by Christopher Nolan. Oh, clue, you freak.
Christopher Nolan.
Then I watched Hot Summer Nights. Good. What can we say? We spent a half hour talking about it. What else? I watched, because basically for school I have to read the book, so I decided to watch the 1996 film adaptation of The Crucible, starring Danny Day-Lewis. He's great in the film. Overall, it is a pretty good movie. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty good.
How's Winona Ryder in it?
She's good. She plays a bitch, and she's good at playing the bitch. It's also got Jeffrey Jones, so it's secretly a Beetlejuice reunion.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, pretty good movie. If you're reading the book for like school or something, I guess it's a pretty good adaptation for it. What else? Oh man. Yes. I also got to watch Escape from Tomorrow. This film is nuts. This film is not good at all, but it is so bizarre and interesting that I genuinely kind of enjoyed the experience of it. Again, not a good film. There are some horrible aspects of this film. There is some awful acting. There is some terrible CGI, and some
they shot it in Disneyland without permission. So.
Yeah. For the most part, it's actually not too bad with like the way they shoot it. But they also had like these like shots that they had to edit in post with green screen, and they look so bad. It looks so bad. Oh god. The ending is also like so unexpected. Again, it's not a good ending at all, but it is so bizarre and weird and bad.
Amazing score though.
Yeah, it does have a good score. Again,
Same
there are
guy
horrible
with
aspects
Post
to it.
Nocturnal Animals.
What?
Wait, what? Holy
Yeah.
fuck. Jesus.
How do you get the same guy to do? How? How did they get the same guy?
Yeah, Abel Korzeniowski or Korl
Wow.
something.
From what I saw of Escape from Tomorrow, I Escape from what I saw of Escape from Tomorrow was like fucking garbage. So I'm surprised that they got or I don't know the gender of the composer to do such a great movie like Nocturnal Animals. I just find that weird.
You guys.
Yeah. For me, it's just like there are genuine aspects. I genuinely actually think it's pretty cool how they were able to film like most of that at like Disneyland without the noticing. I think that's genuinely impressive.
They didn't even sue.
Yeah, they didn't
Wait,
even
really?
give a shit.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, they said they thought it would just give them free publicity if they sued.
Wait, so they just kicked him out and nothing else?
Well,
No,
then
they
after it
finished.
came out.
They finished the movie and they were just like, whatever. I watched an Australian film that I was kind of looking forward to called Strange Bedfellas. It's very homophobic and dated. Don't watch it.
Sounds like the
Brian
movie that
Welbeck.
Brian would hate.
Yeah. Dead Man Walking. The first half hour is a bit slow, but outside of that, everything else was great. Amazing Sean Penn, Susan Sarandon performance. It kind of gets better as it goes along. My Own Private Idaho, pretty good. Gus Van Sant film. Yeah.
It's the
my
Psycho
favorite
remake.
film. Yeah, better, way better. My favorite film that I've watched in recent memory, Eraserhead. I love this movie.
It's good.
So much.
It's super good.
This is so good. I loved it. It was disturbing and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
The chicken dinner scene. Holy shit! I've never been so disturbed and whilst laughing my ass off at the same time. It's so good. Everybody, please, for the love of God, watch Eraserhead. It is so good. I loved it.
I'm surprised you didn't give it a 5.
It might be. I don't like to get I don't like to give 5s on first watches because there might be something that I didn't notice or something. But
that's me nowadays. I've been giving you less.
whenever
nowadays.
Yeah, but like to be fair, there's not much of a difference between a 9 or a 10. But that's besides the point.
Well, to me there is, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. But like there may be something that you don't like that you may have not noticed on your second watch. And plus, there's nothing to me that's more depressing than going back to watch a movie and feel like that you don't like it as much as you did originally. So there's that. Anyway, following that, Changeling. This movie is really, really good. Way better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be like this average story, but it's so gripping. And there is some. It is a sad, horrible story. Not to say like the film is hard, like the story itself is so just disgusting and horrible. Angelina Jolie, she really cemented herself with this film. It's like just a person that doesn't just do shitty action rom-coms. She can be a really good dramatic actor, and she's great in Changeling. Next, Killing Them Softly. I'm very in the middle on this film. There's some great performances in it. Ben Mendelsohn is great. Brad Pitt is great. Richard Jenkins is good. There's a couple scenes I really liked. There are some really great shots. But other than that, I found it really, really boring. There are some really good scenes in it, though, so I kind of gave it a pass. The next film I watched...
Recommendation from me!
I'm Not There. Thank you, Brian. This film was pretty good. I think a bit too long. I'm not very into Bob Dylan, so I didn't really get that much from the story. But I do want to. That's just kind of a personal. That is completely personal.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry if it seemed like I don't respect your. I respect your opinion.
Oh yeah. So that's just me. That's just because I didn't really have much knowledge on Bob Dylan. I haven't really listened to his music. That's just a thing. That's not like the movie's fault. That's just completely on me. And from what I heard, like a lot of the dialogue was taken completely from like his music and stuff, and that is very impressive.
I didn't know that. Holy shit.
Yeah. Apparently, almost every single word is taken from stuff he's said, or his music and stuff that he's written down. That I think is really cool. Yeah, Radio Days. This is a small Woody Allen film, and it was decent. I thought it was all right. They've got amazing set design. Mia Farrow is great. It's the kid that plays a young version of Woody Allen is played by a late 80s very young Seth Green. Yes, it is Seth Green, by the way.
Wait, they let Woody Allen around children? Holy fuck.
This was late 80s, so this is when people respected him.
I know.
And don't worry, and the good thing is it's one of those Woody Allen films where you never have to see his face. You have to hear a bit of him narrating, but there's that, so... Yeah. Hotel Rwanda, pretty good movie. Don Cheadle is incredible in the movie. Joaquin Phoenix is great in the few scenes he's in. There are some really, gripping, horrible, tragic stuff that he has to do. In the beginning, without giving away too much, he has to give away, tons and tons of money just to save his family from being, horribly murdered. It is really, really good. It's a pretty good film overall. The Insider. This is a near great film that was stretched out way too long. It's 2 hours is where I'd say it could have been cut off for the runtime. I think it needs to have about 20 to 30 minutes shaved off of it because it's a really good film that's stretched out to a much slower film. It needs to have a bit of it shaved off to bring up the pacing. But other than that, it is really, really, really good. The dialogue is really great. The performances, Al Pacino is great. And Ross Kroenke gives one of his best performances as well. Christopher Plummer is good as well. I've only got a couple more movies. I'm sorry, I'm rambling at this point. Evil Under the Sun, the last Poirot film of the trilogy. Really, really great. I would call it my second favorite of the Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile trilogy. I really, really liked it. It really cemented Peter Ustinov as my favorite imitation of Poirot. Following that was a Miss Marple film that came in the same franchise for some reason, called The Mirror Cracked. The first couple minutes are really great, and the ending is really great. Everything else in between is kind of slow and boring, but the weird thing is it's a Miss Marple movie where she's barely even in it. She doesn't even do any detective work until the last 5 minutes. It's so bizarre. It was an okay film though, but it's got Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson, so that alone makes it the most classic 60s 70s film. And they're really good. It's just
though.
Oh yeah. Well, to be fair, 80 since it was 80, it probably would have been filmed in the late 70s. So that. So there's that.
You cheater.
Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm sorry. Following that, I watched a film that I have been putting off watching for a very long time, but I did want to get around to it. I did finally watch Schindler's List, and the reason why I hadn't watched it until this long is because there's not really many days where I'm like, you know what, I don't really feel like going for something lighthearted. Today I feel like watching an over 3 hour long Holocaust World War II drama.
Fair.
It's just, you really got to be in the right mood for it and have a whole afternoon set aside for it. But yesterday I finally watched it and it was fantastic. I think the first hour is a little bit slow.
It's free real estate.
I have no issues. I have no issues with the film. I think everything else is brilliant. I think.
Mark, what are your thoughts on Schindler's List? Because I'm curious since you hate Spielberg. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for cutting you off, Jack. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine. Those are my thoughts. And finally, my last film before we let Mark continue. So I watched Virgin Suicides last night, and I'm very mixed on that film. There's some great performances, and it's a really well edited film. But overall, I felt like some of my thoughts were just kind of similar to Hot Summer Nights, in that I didn't really care for any of the characters, and it felt a little bit style over substance. I appreciate some of the stuff that I was trying to do, but overall, I just didn't care for it that much. I'm very, very mixed on Sophia.
Watch Lost in
Sophia
Translation.
Coppola. I need to see Lost in Translation. I need to finish watching Lost in Translation, but other than that, I don't think I've really liked any of her films besides The Beguiled. Everything else I just haven't enjoyed. I tried. The Bling Ring was bad. I didn't want to watch Somewhere. A Very Merry Christmas was boring, and I tried watching Marie Antoinette. That's a beautiful looking film, but nothing happens.
Are you talking about Sophia Coppola?
A lady walk around the really nice building for 2 hours. I'm sorry, I fell asleep.
Wait, Jeff, is that the reason why you rated that movie 2 stars?
What?
You rated Mary Antoinette 2 stars when Kristen Dunst.
I didn't get it.
Neither did I. I didn't. I mean, sure, it's a really the performances are really nice, and it's a gorgeous looking film. There's nothing.
Nice.
Yeah. There's nothing else. It's just watching people walk around and Just like, hey, look at me, I'm very British. Hey, do you like British things? Wow, this is some good tea.
Oh, wait, tea
Are we
time!
talking about Mary Antoinette or Darkest Hour?
Jock!
Timothy Chalamet was robbed, you motherfucker.
Jock!
Pretty much.
What is it?
Do you have to wait for tea time?
Blimey, governor. Get on prison with a lion with your head is in its mouth.
Oh,
Nigel
God.
Thornberry is my hero.
Nigel?
Nigel smashing!
We're going to have a smashing out
God
time.
damn.
Actually, Mark, where are your real thoughts on Schindler's List? Just because I know you hate Spielberg.
I actually like Schindler's List. I like Schindler's List and Jurassic
nice.
Park are the only two ones I actually like.
Okay.
You don't even like Indiana Jones?
Not really.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Mark just hates all the classics.
Wait,
I-
okay. Catch me if you can.
Not really.
Wait.
Jaws?
No.
Do you
Jaws,
like Indiana
E.T.?
Jones and the Cave of the Crystal Skull?
You know what? I'll take Indiana Jones, King of the Crystal Skull over The Last Crusader, honestly.
No!
Now,
Mark, you are such a fun guy to be around. I tell you,
Mark,
honestly. There's no one else
Mark.
on earth like
Mark,
Nah,
Jaws.
Yes.
Mark, Jaws.
Huh?
Jaws. Do you like Jaws?
6 out of 10.
That was like a revolutionary film.
Okay,
That's a
okay.
6.
I'll go through my Spielberg ratings, okay? Jurassic Park.
Go ahead.
Okay, Jurassic Park 8 out of 10. Jaws 6 out of 10. Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's a 7. Schindler's List.
I love this so much.
Schindler's List is an 8. Ready Player One is like a 2. Saving Private Ryan is a 5. E.T. is a 5. Catch Me If You Can is a 5. The Post is a 2.
Well, I mean, nobody liked them.
Indiana Jones, Last Crusade is a 5. Bridge of Spies is a 4. Temple of Doom is a 4. Minority Report is a 3. Lincoln is a 4. Close Encounters is a 5.
See, this is why you now lost 3 followers.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is a 2.
What about Artificial Intelligence of the Lost World?
I haven't seen Artificial Intelligence, but Tintin is a 5.
Oh, come on!
Tintin's a masterpiece. Okay,
Hook,
it's not, but it's good.
Hook is a 4. The Big Giant is a 3. War of the Worlds.
Have you seen Empire of the Sun?
No, I haven't.
I genuinely think you would enjoy Empire of the Sun. Empire of the Sun is a genuinely really
That
good.
is a weird thing to say, Mark, that he'll genuinely enjoy something.
I'm not even joking. Even with like all the other ones aside, I think you would actually like Empire of the Sun. Give it a shot.
Yes.
You're not gonna do it, but you know. That's my recommendation.
My recommendation for Mark. God damn it. I'll
Mark,
add it on my watch
Mark.
list. Make you feel better. How about that, baby?
I just love how you don't even. I just love how you don't even care that you hate like a lot of classic movies.
I don't.
You know, at least he's not like one of the film bros, if you know what I'm saying.
Krimes is definitely not a film bro.
My favorite movie is Back to the Future and Fight Club and The Godfather.
Oh God, no.
My favorite movie is Drive.
No, I love Drive, but
That's not to say like I don't like those movies. I'm just saying like if on Letterboxd, the last films, just don't make films like Fight Club or The Empire Strikes Back as your favorites. Like, you will be the most generic cuck on the website.
Oh yeah, actually, that's why for my current 4 favorite films, I try to make it a little different. My current ones are American Honey, Juno, Inherent Vice, and No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, those ones are fine. Like those.
I try to make it a little bit different. You know?
Yeah, they shouldn't just be like the most obvious mainstream ones.
Drive, The Godfather, Taxi Driver, and Fight Club.
You guys, there are 2 factions. Wait, no, there's 3 factions on Letterboxd. Okay, there are the normies who put Back to the Future and a bunch of that as their favorites. Then there are the girls or the boys or the boy boy girls are the girl boys.
In-betweens.
Who put any film involving... No, they put the Danish girl as their favorite film. Because they're transgender.
Who remembers the Danish girl?
I liked the Danish girl. I liked the Danish girl.
And then
it's probably more relevant now, the whole Scarlett Johansson controversy.
But besides that, like, to be fair, with just on a side note, Eddie Redmayne looked exactly like the person that he was portraying, so I can at least set that one aside. But yeah. Anyway, you were saying.
Then there's the Krimes, the people who are like me, who hate everything. I will point you towards the madman who is PUNQ, Punk, on Letterboxd, who is watching every film from the 1870s to now. He's still barely seen Citizen Kane.
Wait, what did he rate Citizen Kane?
He's barely seen Citizen Kane. Okay, look him up. PUNQ, Punk. He has 3,000... What? Oh, he has 3,000 followers. He's barely seen any of the good cinema. He's like seen occasional.
Like Salo and Pink Flamingos.
He hasn't seen. He hasn't. He's seen. Oh my god. His earliest list is all the way back from 18. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just go follow that guy. He's a good laugh.
I think there seems to also be another group in Letterboxd for all the Armand Whites.
Like me.
Remember Armand White?
Yeah.
I think everyone does though.
Oh, okay. So my favorite list of his is his top 100 of 1880 to 1895.
Oh my god! I didn't even know there were 100 films made in 1880.
Me neither. But Punk is the GOAT.
Is number one Train Rolling?
Look him up. Oh my god. He hasn't updated this list for 3 years. That's how you know it's legit.
That sounds like a real fucking cuck.
Give me a second. I need to go.
You know what? Yeah, but you know what? The real people. Do you know what the real people put in their favorites on Letterboxd?
What? Big Mama's house.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Okay. Or Big Mama's house.
Okay, we're gonna have to wrap this up, boys.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at the 3-hour mark.
Oh my god. So granted, I could talk with you guys for like hours and hours and hours.
Thank you guys for whoever have listened to us to the entire.
I'm glad
you need to make sure this podcast is the exact length of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Oh yes.
Jack, play us out.
I'm glad you guys in the comments and these people are here put up with my dumb ass. I hope you enjoyed listening and hearing me act like an idiot for 3 hours.